I have your face, motherfucker! You're dead!
Ardy AnF, let us show you what you might have missed!
Oh, man. What a mosh call. What a mosh call into the reverse snare. Ah! All right, fellas. It looks like everything's working. It looks like everyone can hear us. It looks like we are, in fact, live.
We're live. It's good to be back. That's a fucking banging intro, mate. I particularly like the drop with like the sample in the middle. It's been a while.
Oh, that was such a mosh call to me. That's why I had to structure the entire song around it.
It takes me back. Takes me back to the mosh pit of my youth. Yes, we're live. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, like, there were two distinct mosh pits when I was a youth. There was like a push pit, right? And then there was a style of dance, right? You had your windmills, you had your two-stepping, you had your actual mosh moves. And that's where it got a little more dangerous. I actually saw Knocked Loose at Warped Tour, I think like 6 years ago. And it was people literally walking up to people and punching them in the back of the head. It was completely removed. It was just really dangerous assault. It was no longer in the role. You know, there was like that blurry line of like, we're moshing, we're kind of hurting each other, we're kind of on the same team. It was really filthy violence what I saw. And I was like, this is out of control. Am I old? Am I old or am I witnessing an attempted murder?
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Ardy and Fist tonight. The Boomers versus the Millennials. No one ever cares about Gen X, mate. Right? it's like Gen X we've been passed over, right? We're like, fading into the distance, right? You're never gonna get a shot at like ruling the country. You can like fuck off. Now it's all about the Millennials.
In the early 2000s, I was called Gen Y and there was a Gen X, and they just started calling Gen Y Millennials at a certain point because the amount of time between the generations stopped making sense. There was like it was like whatever, 50 years. And then like for the Boomers, it might be like 30 years. And then it got down to like Gen X, and then like Gen Y I think it was less than a decade of a generation.
Because time is speeding up.
It is.
I've got it on good authority that, like the clocks are running faster. Look, I saw some random thing on Twitter, so it must be true.
Time is moving much faster. I think we're adapting to it a lot better now, though.
I guess. Is that what my attention span is like decayed?
I have no attention span, dude. I really don't know what to do about it. You want to know where it's really difficult to have a short attention span in a debate? Okay, boy oh boy, do I hate having to do a recorded debate.
So yes, speaking of debates, we got the Zoomers, the Millennials versus the Boomers. I mean that's like quite fun. We've got we've got all kinds of like stuff. Newsflash, things in the UK. Are still terrible. I know. It's a shocking turn of events. You're all going to be like terribly surprised by that. We got stuff. You want stuff? We got stuff. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the stuff.
Well, I think that so. First of all, do you remember the original Walk Away campaign for like the Democrats? Walking away from the Democrats? Yeah,
I do.
And it had. Remember when that was no one could be a straight white guy and start a movement, so the guy had to be gay. you remember that? Where like it couldn't really from like 2017 to like 2022 or 2023, there was like gay black conservatives. We found out that was just all mooey stuff. And so now I think something happened with Jan 6th where he had to like be silent. And so now he can like make content again. There was something with that. But I mean, it's one of the most abusive conversations that millennials have had with boomers I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean,
Owen Schroyer was fucking on one when he was having this conversation.
I mean, look, to be fair, it's two guys from InfoWars and Alex Stein. So,
right.
Like, it's going to be like spicy. But I mean, it kind of, I don't know, man. I thought it really captured like the attitude divide really well, right? Like, you know, all the boomers are like, oh yes, I don't know, from like, you know, this foundation or that foundation, right? And the guys from InfoWars are just like, oh, fuck. Like, I think the tone policing has broken people, right? Everyone's just well, under a certain age is like just totally fucking sick of it, basically. So is the walk away thing to walk away from the Republicans now? Is that?
No, that's still I assuming it's to walk away from the Dems and to walk away from the left. And so he's trying to have a healing conversation on the right, being the gay man that he is. But I do enjoy that there can't be like a cool young neocon. We are seeing that by boomer, we really mean neocon. That's really what it is.
Well, I mean, this is the problem. Until the resolution of the, how should I put this delicately, you know, the Israeli question, it's never really going to like advance, unfortunately, right? Like I've seen this pop up before, and always it's been managed to like be put back in the bottle. You know, it's too hard, like no, like, oh, all the people advancing it, like, you know, suddenly lost their careers and no. But I don't know, I don't think they're going to be able to like pull this off again this time, which means that it's going to be, next couple of years are going to be like really fucking spicy. Just look how far like shit has like shifted just in the last year. Like, it's insane, like how far the public discourse has shifted.
We've been chronicling it. Probably listen to our third stream and listen to how we spoke and like listen to how we speak now. There was a lot more hesitancy in the first few streams, kind of testing the waters out, right?
Yeah,
we're starting to dip our toe, and it's like, I think we could just dive in for the most part.
Yeah, I think we should. So you've got slop to start
for absolutely. Okay, fellas. Now, let me talk to you about race mixing for a moment, fellas. Okay, let's start this off proper. All right. Now, I know that I've been sent a lot of material on how race mixing is bad. It makes people dysgenic, disfigured, essentially, flawed human beings. Let's say absolute abominations. Well, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, fellas, okay? I have proof that it's actually creating a super race of people, okay? Now, this is going to be tough to see. You might have to make some concessions here, okay? Get a load of this.
It's big hands on, not the little one. Y'all know how to go get those diamonds, so y'all better come in for them diamond deals, because right now
Really? You're going to look at this and tell me there's some... Come on, Ardy.
What the fuck even is that?
Do it, Ardy. You can.
Oh my god!
Spell this character. Let me try it again.
Is that my sleep paralysis demon?
It doesn't look proportionate. It looks dysgenic. I know. I'm kidding, of course. You're gonna really look at this person, Fist, and go, "Oh, race mixing is bad." Really, unbelievable. You can't deny what you're looking at right now.
I don't even know. Like, what even am I? Like, what even is that?
It really is a killer argument, isn't it?
I ain't gonna lie, they popping. And I know as much as y'all don't come cash out, y'all broke. So them little dudes, they coming in right now. And for all y'all, let me know on them shirts, you know.
You see, people will say to me, Ardy, if someone's half black, half white, they're going to choose the black half. I'm like, what are you talking about? Listen to her. Sounds perfectly white to me.
That's not half black and half white. That's like, I can't, is she speaking English? I can't even fucking understand like what she's fucking saying.
It is hood speak, yes.
Is this the final boss of the Kalergi plan?
Yeah, this is what we're all gonna look like and sound like.
Oh my god!
Now, okay? Well, let's see who else we have.
They fucking with me. My music gonna come. It's gonna come in soon, so we're gonna be tired. Stop playing with me.
Now, I do enjoy his 83% shaven face. Okay.
Come check them out. They got great prices.
He can't even talk with this thing in his mouth, dude. I honestly don't know what's real anymore. Okay, when I go on X, I don't know what's real anymore.
Jag menu girls.
They have good prices. Yeah, you sound great too. You sound great, look great. And now, fellas, for the nail in the coffin, finally, of my miscegenation argument, there is nothing that you can say to me about these next people.
Big Dog Kids, I love you guys. The biggest TikToker in the world living the life. He's doing it.
Really? You're going to really try and make the argument race mixing creates a dysgenic group of people. You guys are out of your minds, dude. We don't have the same eyeballs, apparently, okay? I can't believe you guys even make that argument.
What the fuck am I even looking at?
I don't know. I don't know if we should be mixing colors after all, okay? I don't know how many generations of what. I have no idea.
Holy moly, donut shop. She don't want no puppy. She want a big dog. Yeah. There go. All the way from Minnesota, man. Got a big.
Oh, terrific, Ardy. Terrific job. So,
God.
Well, now let's move on to the white guys, fellas. All right. Now, it's the season for white guys on the left, white Democrats, to let you know that, hey, I'm a man, but I'm still a Democrat. You know that entire gimmick? So this is a real guy. This is not satire.
Okay, no, wait, pause, right? Tell me about who's this guy, Tallarico. He's running for something, right?
Tallarico is, yeah.
Yeah, like where? Florida or something?
I know I don't like him.
Chat.
Yeah.
Where's Tallarico running? I think I've seen that picture around. Everyone's like photoshopping him into like a pantsuit and heels.
Hey man, this guy's a straight white dude.
Texas.
A veteran who grew up in a military family on farms in the Midwest. Moved to Texas on a scholarship from the Army. I drive a truck. I listen to country music, and I love football. I dare anybody to call me un-American, and I'm fully behind Tallarico. And then, of course, he literally says, I ate this for a meal once. I dare you to call me un-American. Really heavy-handed, I would say. Okay?
Wait. Hang on. Are you telling me that the only thing I need to be an American is to eat a fucking huge steak and a slice of pizza and drink a can of like Bush?
You put the pizza on the steak. Because that's
right. No. Is like, if I do that, will they give me a green card? Like, listen, I need to know this shit because, like, I'd be willing to do that.
Here, let me give you the official propaganda video of how to be an American, okay?
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of.
Isn't this like an AI video that we would make to make fun of them?
What is this? What bullshit am I looking? Is this some fucking like campaign?
This is real men.
About how like it's heckin' wholesome chungus to be a gay American. It's like everyone's like Brokeback Mountain and stuff.
No, man, that's not cool, man. It's not 2003 anymore, dude. Okay, they're awesome, great, regular men.
Listen,
better
man,
men than us. Okay,
no one sits on the back of a fucking pickup truck with that kind of.
Look at how he's sitting. Look at how he's sitting.
Right, no one sits like that on the back of a pickup unless they are flamingly queer. I'm sorry.
Bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of.
Cock.
Women. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies.
Could you imagine? Like, as an editor, I'm like, okay, someone's sending me this video to edit, and it's a compilation of men saying they're not afraid of women. And in my mind, I'd be like, I don't know if you guys want to release this. I don't know who your target audience is.
I mean, I'm expecting them to like go into.
We're afraid of women.
Where he talks about because he's so comfortable with his heterosexuality, like he hangs out in like a gay spa or something.
Right. To prove, because he needs to prove how much of a man he is.
Oh, this was from Kamala's campaign, right? I think I've like seen this.
I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
they want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not fucking afraid of that, dude. Fucking sitting in the corner, some big, barren, barrel-chested black eyes plotting. I'm not fucking scared. What are you afraid? You could like I just love that attitude. I'm not afraid. Who's afraid? No one's afraid. No one's scared of that.
I'm not afraid. What are you saying? Like, I'm like totally the opposite of afraid, bro.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of
words.
That guy sitting like that shouldn't have said full-throated. Really, in retrospect, this went through many hands before it went out.
Yeah, you know? Very poor choice of words. Holy crap.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it. I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mom.
I really just love the thumb in the pocket right there. Like, how could I deny? How could I deny what he said? He's next to a horse, the thumb in the pocket.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help that.
So it's that season again, fellas. Okay? That's what you get with Tellerico.
I'm man enough to contribute to the downfall of civilization.
Oh,
it's a manly thing to do.
Oh, what are you afraid of society ending? Oh, you're afraid of your demographics shrinking. Oh my god, dude. Be a man.
No, I'm not afraid of like the end of civilization, right? Look, don't tell my wife I said that, right? She beats me sometimes.
Oh, I'm so scared to walk around south side of Chicago and ow. As he gets stabbed to death. Oh, but I'm not afraid as I'm dying. I'm not afraid at all. What is that argument? Anyways, it is that season of the left. Dude, I actually can't wait to see what the left is going to come up with. Because, I mean, since the whole, very bad optics with transing the kids with Kamala, which really tanked her campaign, they're going to try and come back. Since things are further right, they're going to try to appear more moderate. And I really am excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tricky sell after Biden, right? I mean, because it's only been like a couple of years, right? So, I mean, they can't really campaign on freedom of speech because, they don't believe in that. I mean, I don't know. They'll probably do more of this shit, like basically,
Yeah, but like, you know how like younger generations might be pretty embarrassed that they got like a tattoo. Or you probably had friends that had gauges in their ears, and then like 15 years later, they have giant holes in their ears that they would have to get surgery to close, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine you cut your dick off. Now imagine you transition, and no one gives a shit about trans people.
No, see, the acceptable thing to do, when you're stupid enough to get like ear gauges when you're young, is you just like sort of like wear really small, like unobtrusive ones.
You're right. That's all you can really do. I've seen that too.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't not wear gauges. It just looks like, you took a shrapnel grenade to like the back of your head.
Oh, it's bad. So now I really like this cultural exchange with AOC here when she's, pro women's rights. And then of course, when she's talking around Muslim men, they're all just talking over her.
Selflessness and solidarity. And most importantly, we renew our commitment to
Even the fucking guy filming is talking over her, it sounds like. Like all the men are talking over her as she's speaking. But she's doing the right thing right here, This makes total sense. I still don't understand how the UK ever rectified like LGBT in school with all the muzzies that you have. I don't know how there wasn't a war that broke out.
Well, in practice, what happens is they only enforce that stuff against whites. That's what it actually like turns out to on the ground, right? And because a lot of those like highly Islamified schools. Like they run like the whole school, right? They if they usually have like one white administrator like left, like it's fucking the Raj or something, and it's usually a woman. They just threaten them basically, and everything runs smoothly. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's that easy.
Oh
my God, Zoran Mamdani is right behind her. I didn't even realize that. He just looked like another G to me. I didn't even realize Mamdani was there.
We can bring light into the darkness. Thank you once again for having me here today.
Everyone is just talking to each other, completely ignoring her. I really enjoyed that. I'm slowly becoming way more misogynistic than I thought possible, fellas.
Yeah, because the thing is, okay, right? Originally, when this kicked off, it was not apparent that giving women the franchise and letting them run stuff would literally destroy society, right?
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, look, just, come on, right? Like, just, give us like a bit of power and no. But now it is becoming apparent, like, there's a really, really good reason why they are kept out of leadership positions. And it's not just like misogyny or any of that shit. Like, they literally run entire societies into the ground, like, if there's enough of them.
Well, right. But I'm also noticing, which we'll see a little bit later on, but I noticed this on the right, like 5 or 6 years ago, that they were pushing black people, pushing like women and whatnot. They really did push like straight white men out of the spotlight as representatives, even just as like news anchors and stuff like that. And now I just keep going, like, why? I really am noticing that even on the right, white people have been systematically like suppressed, so to speak.
Yeah.
So now, of course, Hassan Piker. Now, I love this. I love what the left gets to get away with, because I'm going to show you the violence in the streets a little later on. That's just what they're allowed to get away with physically and politically. But also, Hassan Piker isn't a communist, but he's fine if you call him a communist, and he supports the idea of communism, but he's not a communist.
Right.
I love the dancing.
Look, I say I'm not a communist, but people call me that, and I don't have any problems with communism. I think it's a decent endpoint. A classless, moneyless, borderless society. It's Star Trek universe. Whenever I say that, people go, "How could he even mention this?" But I feel like if you think about it, like, I don't think that's a bad way to live. Look,
Wait.
Imagine, yeah.
Hold up. In what sense is Star Trek a borderless universe? Right? Does anyone? I mean, okay, I'm not like a massive like Trekkie, okay, but like the Starship Enterprise has borders, right? They don't just like let sort of any like person just like walk on. My understanding of the Star Trek universe was that you had various sectors that were ruled by different like ethnic blocks, right? You had the Klingons and the Calrassians or whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah.
Like, and also, does Hassan not realize that the premise of Star Wars, much like the premise of Ian Banks's culture universe, is the idea that you've got matter replicators, so you can just make shit out of thin air, which, I mean, does violate the law of conservation of energy. I mean, I'm not a physicist, right? But that seems like a small but like quite crucially important point there.
Let's grant it to them. Even in that utopia, they still align along racial lines. Even in a perfect utopia like that. Now, fellas,
we can have Star Trek.
Unironically, he does all of the memes. I still have to show you when he said, "As a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow." Still have to show you that. But anyway, so we talk about the moves. Okay, I didn't know if you know that. Watching this stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. But the moves didn't just arrive here. Okay, they got here in like the mid 1600s, and they're responsible for a lot of this stuff. Now, that's not my opinion. That is the opinion of Batya Ungar Sargon, which is that some sort of human?
Yeah, I mean,
is it though?
I think she's. I know it says like American Moo, but
yeah,
my understanding was that she was in the UK for a while, actually. Like, I mean, this honestly, I'd be really interested to like read this, like the history of the moves in America.
I'd love it.
You know, very interesting. What does she have to say, Ardy? Go on, tell us.
Well, I would just love to cross-reference whatever her claims are with other things that have happened in history.
Our history in America does not start where most Jews think it does, somewhere around the turn of the century. Jews arrived here in 1654. We were never seen.
You probably could have said this, not now. Awful time to say this, lady. Okay? This can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. Okay?
I mean, there are rumors that Columbus himself was a converso. But I don't know whether that is true or just rumored. But given the timeline, right, that the Columbus's voyage was around the time of the Spanish expulsion, I don't know. It would make a certain amount of sense, but
well, they were in the UK since when, like 1066 AD?
Yeah. The 1066 was when the Moors came over with the Normans. The French brought them over as tax farmers, basically, to rule over the peasants. And something, I mean, I don't know this, but it wouldn't surprise me to find out that the English did the same with America, which would possibly explain why conditions got so bad leading to a revolution, because that's what happened in England, right? Like they were brought over as tax farmers, and they were so exploitative on the local population. They drove everyone to penury, and this created incredible societal unrest. Obviously, that was only a one-time thing that like never happened again. Oh wait.
Anyway, 400 years of these. Yeah. You want to know how the blacks like say 400 years of slavery? Can we start saying that in the U.S. when we're referring to the Moors? 400 years of oppression. I'm gonna start. I'm co-opting the shit out of that.
Seen as an immigrant community, and we were never oppressed. We were seen by the founding fathers and our Christian neighbors at the time as founding partners in the establishment of this great nation. And that first 300 years of Jewish history in America has been erased. And I wanted to reclaim it because there has never been.
Okay, so we need to do the rewriting of history. I think it's the direction they're going to start going in, because things are going so bad right now. It's like, okay, the oppression's not working. Maybe we weren't oppressed and we were helping the entire time. She actually gave up the oppression to go with a strategy, which you don't see very often.
There's quite a large section in the Moorish Encyclopedia about this. Maybe I should do an episode on this, actually.
A country in the history of the world that has been as good to the Jews as the United States of America. And it's only because of the unique form of Christianity that we have here. And I wanted to reclaim that history.
What's the unique form of Christianity that we have here? And you better bet your bottom dollar that type of Christianity is coming up when the millennials talk to the boomers.
Yeah. I mean, it's evangelicalism. Evangelism, I don't know like what you call it, but it's like weird. It's very, very. I was watching something from Zuma historian. No, Regime Zuma. There's so many like channels, and like he does these like explainer videos on like Christian history, and he was explaining how Christianity like spread out on the American frontier, and basically because the frontier was moving so fast, there was no way to sort of like keep any kind of like central organization. So it became sort of very much like, I guess you could call like hedge churches in a sense, right? Like just, sort of like groups of Protestants, like without any sort of like centralized control, just sort of building like churches in the middle of nowhere and stuff like that. And he was basically saying that this sort of influenced the evolution of evangelism. I think if I got that right.
On the 250th anniversary of our founding. And so I started in 1654.
So you hear that, and then when she says our founding, it kind of takes off, it takes on a dual meaning. Fist has got me very attuned to when they're speaking as to what they mean when they say it and what they know we think they mean when they say it.
I mean,
Yep.
Wait, 1654. I have the Moorish Encyclopedia open, right? There is no reference to 1654 here.
What about generally that time period?
Okay, right.
This is the hidden history.
She's oddly specific about that date.
Ooh, you smell that? That smells like smoke. You think there's a fire close?
No, wait.
You want to pull it up?
In 1650, 12 Jewish families were brought to
never mind.
Curacao. Hang on. Were brought to Curacao. In 1652, 2 leagues of land along the coast for 50 families and 4 leagues for 100 families were granted by the Dutch West India Company to Joseph Nunes de Fonseca and others to found a colony of moose on that island. As early as 1654, direct relations between these settlers and the inhabitants of New Netherlands were established. In that year, immigrants of wealth and standing arrived in considerable numbers from Brazil. The first burial ground was established in 1656. And by 1692, the congregation Mikveh Israel had completed its first synagogue. Okay, right. So she does know what she's talking about. My apologies.
How dare you? Do you have any idea the resources that are behind her to make that? God knows what she's planning to do with it too. That's gonna be that's gonna change laws when she comes out with this book. You know.
Story, reclaim that narrative, and then explain why the Jews in the 20th century became Democrats, and then why the left turned on them so viciously.
Oh, I wait for that on bated breath. Why they became Democrats. So we would have to attribute the Tikkun Olam, as we've covered, the progressiveness would invariably have to be connected to the Moose. And I would love to raise that point to James Lindsay one day. Maybe I could raise that point to him on a cruise, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could, mate. You know, it's funny you should mention that. Actually, yeah. There's a cruise.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, mate. I mean, I'm raring to go. This is a real thing, right? I have not made this up. Okay.
These conferences, dude, a conference at sea, what gets done aside from dirty things that you do in person for all these conferences?
A conference at sea. I mean,
how much is it?
That's a good question. It's not cheap, right? You got to pay for the cruise, and you got to pay for admission to the conference. Here we go.
He's doing the sponsorships again.
So if you want the smallest possible room, right, which they call an inside stateroom. Ooh, sounds classy. It means it's got no windows, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want a room with windows, it's an ocean view stateroom. Ooh. Okay, right. So if you want a window, it's like $1,000 per person. But of course, that's not what you're going to actually pay, because you got to pay for shit on the ship and stuff, and they're going to nickel and dime the fuck out of you. If you want a really nice room, you could pay $8K per person. Now, right?
Now,
but
this is interesting because, go ahead.
Okay, come on, right? Just think of all the cool shit. Right? Look at this lineup of speakers: James Lindsay, Michael O'Fallon, James Lindsay, Michael O'Fallon.
And that's it. It's those two guys for 7 days. Now, here's the thing: I can't believe somebody would pay $1,000 to be stuck on a boat with James. If somebody was like, "You're going to be on a boat with James Lindsay," and I would be like, "Well, how about I give you $8,000?" and I don't, and then that's what I would spend $8,000 to not have to be on a boat for 7 days with James Lindsay. The boat's not big enough to be on a boat.
Don't tell me you don't want to rub milky udders with James Lindsay. I know. I know. You desire the touch.
Even though I wouldn't be on the internet, I'd find a way to break TOS in person if I was stuck on a boat with them for 7 days. Okay.
On the luxurious celebrity summit.
The hubris. But nobody wants to work with them. They don't make money. They take money. So you can't get any extra names. You can't get Logan Lansing on there. Anyone. Whenever James hosts his own conference, it's just him and Michael O'Fallon. And then when you see them communicate on the internet, it is very standoffish and condescending. They really high in their own supply.
Man, I really, I hope we get footage of this. I really, really do. So it departs from Florida, right? Then briefly does a round at the Bahamas. I mean, the other thing about cruise ships at the moment is with all the norovirus and stuff going around, oh, dude, I wouldn't fucking go anywhere near a fucking cruise ship, right? Program Preserving Liberty.
Program. Okay.
Preserving
So,
Liberty.
There's a
With
both
Lindsay
of
and
them
O'Connell.
do a speech. Okay, yeah.
Preserving Liberty. The Integralist Governance Model by Michael O'Fallon. Critical America Theory with Lindsay.
Wait a minute. Is this the exact same thing in Dallas, but on a boat? Does this sound familiar? The Integralist.
It does. It does. Yeah, it's probably a reprise of like greatest hits would be my guess. I mean, I don't know. It's probably got to be nicer than Dallas Airport Hilton, to be honest, right? Like,
oh, Nazbol, red fascism. Oh, you're gonna be hearing about the Nootsies. Oh, and basking in the sun on the ocean, hearing about Mustache Man.
Red fascism. Questions and answers. You two could talk to the great master, James Lindsay, and you could ask him questions. And since he is always right, he's never wrong about anything. Maybe you could ask him for some stock tips or something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, session 7 is a workshop where they come up with different puns for Oren McIntyre's name for an entire 3 hours. So that'll be interesting.
Workshop. I mean, did they make like little like paper mache like chains?
Oh, what's session 8?
Russian cosmism.
They love it. They just love it. Oh, a new word. Dude, a Lindsayite sees cosmism and goes, "Oh, I don't have that one," like a Pokemon. "Oh, I don't know what that is yet. Oh, something new, a new concept."
Dialectical political warfare, another workshop. And then the last 2 sessions, they don't really know what the fuck they're gonna do.
It's incredible, dude.
To be determined. Probably like, he'll just see what's going around on Twitter and
it's a reprisal of what he did in Dallas that we covered, and he couldn't even fill the whole thing out yet, even though it's not very original.
Listen, I'm sure he could spend the last like 2 days out with like this. Lindsay has been sort of pondering this question, like a 16-year-old girl, like sort of like, pondering like, oh my God, does the boy like me? With very similar, like in my mind, kind of like weird cognitive leaps as like a 16-year-old girl would do, yes, right? Like,
because what a 16-year-old girl does is wonder what other people think all day long and write it down in their diary. I wonder what this person thinks. Such a useful, it's such a useful way to spend your time, is wondering what other people think.
Since going to the Stop Anti-Zionism conference in Toronto last week, which we have covered, I've been thinking, dear diary, is anti-Zionism just anti-Septicism in new clothes, which is anti-Moodyism in new clothes? See, it's a pernicious, chameleon disease, right? Mate.
We really just need an AI James Lindsay voice and thinking music, and as if it's his diary, and I could do like a white silhouette around this.
The answer is a qualified no. Anti-Zionism certainly is anti-Septicism. Yeah, we know you got that fucking like talking points, like literally from fucking Mossad, right? We know that's literally like the whole thing, right?
I love how the no is a qualified no.
Right.
There's an appeal to authority with this no.
And anti-Moodyism dressed up for the post-World War II age. What is wrong with anti-Moodyism? Right? You are allowed to be like not enjoyers of a religion, right? Like Christianity is fundamental. Oh, he'd probably disagree with that. And he'd probably say, oh, actually, don't you know it, right? The real Christianity is incredibly like pro the religion that is basically its diametric opposite. You're right. That's not like dialectical warfare or anything, right? That's not like Alfhaven, right? That's not like where you like take two opposites and you mash them together and you sublate the thing and try and like birth like a new horror from its conjunction. Oh, no. Everything else is that except for Judeo-Christianity, right? That is like totally heckin' wholesome and chungus. Fucking idiot. It's not only impossible to deny, it's shockingly accurate. Anti-Zionism disguises and continues those wretched lines and legacies. Would you say they were vile,
right,
James? Are they vile? Disgusting.
Immune system.
Yeah, immune system.
Death butterfly. But also, is there any coded language historically in the country with the terms people of color just means not white? transphobic, like all of that opposing language they've used, but yet we don't have these conferences out at sea to talk about it. Why do they have to? This is how you know they're, and this is where the left gets it from. Their activism is vacation, right? They're still doing an activism. They're still doing something so important. It's limousine liberalism.
On the other hand, anti-Zionism is different because it is more, okay? Anti-Citrites dislike or hate Moors and not other Semitic language peoples by evil design. Wait. So wait, are you saying that anti-Septicism includes like the Septics are like everyone in the Middle East? Well, then that would basically, mate, fucking, he's already twisting himself into a knot. Right?
Anti-Semitic refers to 3% of them are Jewish across the whole Semitic world. It's funny, Semitism isn't really even a thing, but anti-Semiticism actually is a thing.
Of course it is. Anti-Zionists hate Moors and everyone who supports them. It's a broader category of malice. Why? Why is there so much negative feeling towards the Moorish people? Because white people, you see, are inherently evil, right? And if they're not contained by certain governing structures, they are prone to, an outbreak of this disease, right? Which must then be like, I don't know, cleansed by fire, right? Like if it's a disease, right, that is like prone and latent in whites, okay? This assumes a couple of things. Number one, it assumes that whites must never be allowed to govern themselves and they must never have freedom of speech and freedom of thought lest this horror reemerge, right? And it also basically implies that once this horror has emerged, the cure must be drastic. Like they never take this to the fucking endpoint.
Everybody anti-Semiticists, okay? They're kind of like a sex offender in your neighborhood, okay? What you have to do is go on the registry and find their address. Okay, that's kind of what it's like. I always like the looming threat with these fucking analogies, dude. I can't get enough of them.
Christian Zionists, whether theologically or eschatologically so or not, are lumped in effectively as Mudaized under anti-Zionism. That's because they are, right? If you read any of the early church fathers, if you fucking read Irenaeus, right? Like there is what is known as the Mudaizing heresy. It was like a big thing in the early church. Oh, man, fuck the amount of shit. Like, look, I'm not a fucking theologian, but the amount of shit he does not know about fucking Christianity, right?
Just compared to me, you are.
I've read the Bible. Yeah, but did you understand it, James? Right? Or did you just like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, you saw when he was reading Carl Schmitt, that book, Carl Schmitt's book. What's the name of one of Carl Schmitt's books?
Yeah, it was.
What's the name of the book? Yeah, right. He read that and he's like, oh, this book's all about R. McIntyre. Incredible. You want to do some soupies?
Yeah, wait. Let me just finish.
Sure.
Like ragging on.
You're in a groove. I see.
Right. Yeah. Well, anti-Zionism by adopting politically correct clothing for unjust Moo criticism. Right? Okay. Look, be careful how you criticize the Moos. Right? There is just criticism and unjust criticism. Who gets to decide? Well, the Moos themselves obviously get to decide. Hey, buddy. That's an unjust criticism. In the language of the friend-enemy distinction upon which it runs, the enemy category is necessarily broadened to demonize not only Moos, but also their broader network of support in the wider world. Wait, they have a broader network of
rejection, dude. Oh my God.
Wait. They have a broader network of support? That sounds like a conspiracy theory there, James. You want to be careful, right? You're leaning into this trope, right? That despite having a small number of people, they have like a lot of people under them. Like, look.
Yeah, should we just start saying they have a broad network of people? Is that acceptable? Can we say it that way? However we can phrase it, let us know.
I mean, I've said this before, but it bears repeating, right? Lindsay is like more fucking friend-enemy distinction than fucking almost anyone I know, right? Like, whatever. Whatever.
Well, he does it more than anyone that you know who doesn't know that he's doing it more than anyone that you know.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. I've never met the guy, right? You know, I'm just commenting across the internet. I'm not a fucking mind reader, okay? But like, you know, fucking hell, man. Like the way he's like, oh, friend enemy distinction is bad. By the way, we should like totally depopulate Gaza. I mean, whatever.
No, but it's getting off on it though. But it's the tone of voice that they use to talk about it. They really enjoy it.
Okay, super chats. Sunday Mass for $5. Thank you very, very much.
Morning, Rob.
Long time no see. Hope you had a happy Memorial Day. Did you have a happy Memorial Day, Ardy? Did you remember some stuff?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I remembered things on Memorial Day. It was good.
Excellent. Zhong Shina for $5. Thank you. Am I dumb for thinking Nick and his groypers are controlled op that needs to be labeled as such and kicked out of any right-wing discourse? If so, elaborate. That's a bit of a long topic for a super chat. But
I can. I know, right? You guys want to deviate and get into that right now?
Not really. No. I
can keep it
really
short.
don't.
I can keep it short. This is why I like to say I don't like to ascribe motive. It's very difficult to know these things. And so all you can do is speculate. So I point out when they are functioning as controlled opposition, right? So when they're functioning as controlled opposition is counter signaling, actually boots on the ground movement, not violence, not militancy, but like return to the land. That's when they're functioning as controlled opposition. Other times they're not. For the JQ conversation, they're not at all. So I like to just say when they are functioning as controlled opposition, I speak out on that and have a debate that I don't want to have. I hate debating so much.
Okay. Exodus for $5. Thank you very much. Star Trek is supreme subversion. American Krogan did a huge comeback series on Rumble. William Iverson was on there. Big recommend. I really got to watch some stuff by American Krogan. People keep like recommending him. I should check that out. Thanks, mate. Dilly Longballs for $5. Thank you, mate. Back for a quickie. It's almost like any time they're introduced into a new diaspora, said diaspora becomes divided against any possible line. Oh, mate, I can't comment on that. That sounds extremely anti-citrus, bro.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to divide ourselves without them, don't you know?
Quagmire for $20. Thanks, Quagmire. Giggity. Ardy Fist, hello fellas, I just showed up, but don't you worry, I've already rewinded time specifically for you two so that I could watch the stream live, so no need to rewind until the other guys ask. Love you guys. Oh, thank you, Quagmire. That's very, very kind of you. I appreciate that, man.
Very kind. It really is funny how we're just here hanging out. When someone leaves a comment like that, they're like, hey guys, thanks. I'm like, no you. King Spectre for $10. I
always get so annoyed when commies conflate their BS with Star Trek. Trek society has private property, is incredibly hierarchical, borders are a massive plot point, and race is rigidly defined. Exactly.
Yeah, but aside from all that, it's pretty communist, right?
Yeah, but aside from all, well said, Spectre. Thank you very much, mate. Total Blackout painting for $20.
There he is.
It's Friday. Rejoice, fellas and fellas.
Thank you, TVP. I know, yeah. People might think that that's like men and women. It's two different types of men, fellows and fellers.
Hope you're doing well, TVP. Hurt chain for 5 loonies. Get ready for the Lindsay special. Scissors on a cruise ship. No clapping, please. Only healing hands.
Fellas, healing hands in chat for the people that are going to
I
be on that boat.
I do not want to be like unkind, right? But I am imagining all the shit that can go wrong on like a cruise ship, right? Like Lindsay trying to like do some conference and there's like a storm or something and the boat's like fucking rocking back and forth. Like, half the people watching have like motion sickness. Oh, God. Oh, dude. Oh, mate. Theodore McCarthy, member for 4 months. Please restart the stream 4 months ago. Oh, mate. For you, mate,
it's
of
our
course.
4-month anniversary already.
Leafman with a frying pan for $5. 300 years of U.S. Moo history, and it's 63% of them being slavers in 1863. Foreskin cereal, the Great Depression, and a statue of Baal in Chicago in 1933. Yeah, that's fucking great.
Wow.
You've seen that footage, right? What, Soldier Field?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think it was called like Birth of a Nation or something like that, which is like honestly funny, like how snazzy that sounds. And you know, everyone clips this like bit with the statue of Baal, and then they're like, oh no, actually, right, there was like a bunch of other stuff, right? Like, why are you always like focusing on the bit where they're
totally out of context?
Yeah, sacrificing children to Baal. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, it seems relevant, you know. Quagmire again for $10.
Hey there, mate.
Very much. Yes, American Krogan's vids are very good analysis. Watch his Bioshock series. It's the best videos he's done. Okay, well, that's a good recommendation.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Quagmire. And Exodus again for $5.
So let me read this one, okay?
Okay.
So there was a guy that one guyed me. He tagged me and was talking trash about me. I tried to talk to him, and he was accusing me of drama farming when he tagged me and then wouldn't actually engage in a conversation with me. Apparently, he did a 30-minute video about a drama, and the guy that chatted to call you effeminate and shit, he's a black pill loser. I am going to love to sink my teeth into that, Exodus. Thank you very much for putting that on my radar.
Right, super chats achieved. What have we got up next?
You have
we're doing
half of your stack before I go into the violence.
Right. Okay. So we got some stuff happening in the UK. UK. So this is whoever is doing mooish PR at the moment in Britain really needs like an intervention. Okay, right? So I mean this is so fucking bad. Okay, so Rupert Lowe came out and he said that the grape gang scandal is something equivalent of the Holocaust, right? And I've been trying to spread this, right? It's because the grape gangs are a Holocaust for the English, right?
I could show where you've said that on stream, maybe as early as a month and a half ago, maybe even 2 months ago.
Yep. And the Mooish Chronicle, of course, is like Lowe has been criticized for his downright offensive comments comparing the grape gang scandal to the Holly during a Restore Britain campaign event. Oh my God, right? Pledging to release the findings of the unofficial inquiry backed by the party. He said, I don't think anybody in this country can ever vote Labour again when they see in the report that Labour has put its own power and its own ambitions ahead of the interests of the most vulnerable white working class girls who have been abused. And it is still going on as we sit here tonight, and they have denied it. So they have denied something the equivalent of the Holly. The remarks have been condemned by political figures and Jewish leaders. Hey,
wow,
that's our stay off our turf. We are the most persecuted people. We're not gonna hear, right? I mean, oh my God, this is going down like a sack of shit, as you can imagine, right? Like, this is not the optics on this are bloody terrible. A spokesperson for the Mooish Leadership Council said the genocide of 6 million Mooish men, women, and children, and by the Nazi regime and its collaborators, was unique, both in its systemic nature and industrial scale. So just, I mean, I don't like how many, like if literally every single white girl in England was raped and tortured, would it be, would that be enough, right? Well, obviously, no, you have to understand it's the worst thing that ever happened. It has to stay the worst thing that happened forever. That's what never again means, right? Drawing comparisons between the Holly and contemporary tragedies, however terrible, is not only inaccurate, but deeply offensive to survivors and the wider Mooish community. David Taylor, Labour MP for Hemel Hempstead, urged Lowe to apologise for the appalling comments. Rupert Lowe must apologise to the Mooish community, many of whom are descendants of those who escaped or survived the Holly, for those appalling comments. Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of those girls won't have any descendants, actually. So at least you have descendants, you know?
Ooh.
Like, it's just, oh, mate, like, it's just not, this is just, like, you can imagine
dude,
how.
there's nothing they can do about. It's a sunk cost fallacy when it comes to the grooming gangs. Because the more they admit, the more it's open to an actual honest investigation. It's the worst things we're going to find out.
It just makes them look completely fucking heartless, right? Who knew, right? That like they only really care about their own suffering, and like actually at the end of the day, they don't really give a fuck about anybody else, right? Like, I mean, I suppose, isn't that like a trope or something, right? Like, so you've just got these like randos on Twitter, like Mooish randos, basically being like, so they're trying to brand Rip It Low as antiseptic at the moment. Okay, right?
Shocking.
Now, this has been a question that's been going around. Okay, right? Sooner or later, Restore are going to have to clarify their position on the Mooish lobby, which is huge in the UK, by the way, right? It's very much like America, right? They have like lobbies in all the major parties. And some people have been saying, Rip It Low's like a shill. No. He's been like sucking up to Israel. That doesn't appear to be the case, like quite frankly. Okay, so you got these like random people coming out. The same party leader who is obsessed with banning kosher slaughter and was filmed making an antiseptic joke is now harping on about the grooming gang scandal being equivalent to the holy. You know what the antiseptic joke was, by the way?
What?
Right? He said that he was in this was caught like pre-interview. And he was commenting on how small the camera was that the guy had. And he said, when I was a child, we used to call them Mooish cameras. We call it a moo camera. That's it. That's literally the antiseptic joke, apparently. Right?
I don't even get it.
The comments, like,
oh, wow.
So Rip is like, well, I'm going to continue harping on about it, right? You know, Woe's in here with like banger as always. It is equivalent, in fact, for us native Brits, which you are not. It is more significant. You don't have a monopoly on victimhood, and your desire to deny it for other people, even 12-year-old girls, is vile. Now, you see Woe's, right? He knows what's up, right? If you see these kind of like people on Twitter, the word vile, right? For some weird reason, they love the word vile. Fucking throw it back at them.
Yeah, Piers Morgan says vile all the time on a show.
Yeah. Connor Tomlinson, so sorry that industrial scale child rape and torture is such a boring topic for you. What is it about the victims that don't warrant your sympathy?
You see, Connor Tomlinson is such a sleeper. I never would have expected that from him.
Mate, like, it is just like, look at this.
Well, it's a topic that really brings something out of a man, right?
Yeah. I mean, every single time. Oh, mate. So, I mean, this is going very, very badly. Again, another one. I can look at his profile pic.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dude. Low by name and by nature. While truly appalling, it's not truly appalling enough, right? The UK grape gang scandal is not equivalent to killing approximately 19 million people. No, because these people are still alive to suffer with what happened to them, right? Like, perhaps death would have been a mercy. You ever fucking thought of that? Like, I mean, look, man, I think of myself as having a pretty hardened brain. And even I can't read the fucking trial transcripts from that like stuff. It's like that, legitimately
it puts you to the test. Yeah.
Horrible. Okay. And there's a whiff of anti-septicism in this statement as well, right? And Rupert Lowe's like, I just want to make myself clear. I'm not going to retract anything. I stand by every single word. Labour are calling for me to apologize. The answer is no, right? You could fuck off, right? Like he starts talking about like the torture, because like a lot of this stuff was basically torture, right? Like this shit would be totally illegal under the Geneva Convention, but it's fine because it's only happening to like white girls, right? And who the fuck cares about that? Like,
see, you understand the law.
Like, imagine Imagine if any of these girls were mooish. You would never hear the fucking end of it. Oh God, it fucking pisses me off. And so everyone is just like, they're not happy. This is very, very, very bad. People are just posting like 4chan memes, and she's just
kind of done with it.
And she's just basically, I mean, even her thing, right? Like, she says, well, 7 million Soviet civilians
That
died.
ratio.
Well,
Hold on. That has been viewed 16. Go back to it. Go back to what she said. That has been viewed 16,000 times. Oh no, that's been viewed 18,000 times, and it has 11 likes. That is impossible. That is really difficult to do.
So this is not going well. Okay. Then of course we have the case of Henry Nowak. Now you might be familiar. Actually, wait, just in case anyone's like unfamiliar.
Thank
I'll
you.
play the BBC did like a little thing. But basically, right, Henry Nowak was stabbed to death by a Sikh man who's allowed to carry a knife because of his religion, right? Whites aren't allowed to carry weapons, right? But the Sikhs are because, right, religion. Now, I don't generally have a problem with the Sikh community, right? They're certainly not but it has raised a lot of these questions. But the thing that has really boiled everyone's piss is that after being stabbed, the Sikh in question called the police and said that Henry had done a racism to him. And when the cops showed up while he was like bleeding out, the cops arrested him for doing a racism, and he died whilst like handcuffed on the ground. And now the cops are saying like, oh, well, there's nothing we could do. We didn't know about it. Dude, he was like stabbed all over the place. Like how much blood was he leaking? The government is very strictly against like releasing the body cam footage. And I guess it's probably because the call was answered by 3 female police officers. What race were these female police officers? Why do we even have fucking female police officers? Anyway.
There's so many questions.
Yeah.
Remember that Henry Nowak left his university halls for the last time. CCTV at the Hobbit pub shows Henry on his own. Later, he passes the pub again and heads off towards home. This is Vikram Digwa, a Sikh whose faith obliges him to carry a ceremonial knife called a kirpan. Henry crossed paths with him on Belmont Road. As he strolled up the street in the dark, Henry is heard singing to himself and yawning in a video he's filming on his phone at the time. His phone camera also captures a very brief exchange with his killer. Henry was heard saying, "You're a bad man, say you're a bad man, go on." Digwa replied, "I am a bad man." This first-year accountancy and finance student ended up being stabbed 4 times and cut on the face. When the police arrived, Vikram Digwa insisted he'd been the victim of a racist attack. Officers initially handcuffed Henry, despite him saying, "I've been stabbed." Henry then said, "I can't breathe," and went silent. Henry died here.
Oh, I can't breathe. We're not going to use that as a slogan, huh?
As you can see, of course, whites are rioting all over the UK right now, burning stuff down, because that's how we roll, bro.
The pathologist who spoke in court was clear. There was nothing officers could have done that day to save Henry. It's so important to me that I say that I'm sorry that Henry was handcuffed and arrested in the moments before he lost consciousness.
Say sorry.
Aww, I'm sorry. Oh, are you dead? Oh, I'm sorry. Right? Like, don't look, the deeper issue obviously is why the fuck are there laws making racism a fucking crime? Right? It is the perfect scam for every fucking situation.
Why do the police have such an innate bias where they just assumed he was racist?
College of Policing.
No evidence.
College of Policing. They get him like literally in the College of Policing. Basically, right? Like there's a whole selection process. If you want to like rise in the ranks of policing, you got to like snitch on like another police officer. it's grim. It's like Bolshevik as fuck.
When the jury declared Digwa guilty, there were tears of relief from Henry's family. Vikram Digwa's mother, Kiran Kaur, was found guilty of assisting an offender by removing the knife from the murder scene. Her son, described in court as a man who likes weapons, is due to be sentenced on Monday.
So the first amazing thing was that he was convicted, right? I presume because there's there's literally video of him doing it, and he got found with the victim's phone like in his pocket.
The level of evidence that we need to get a degree of justice.
So this is the question, right? That his injuries were not survivable suggests that much blood was already spilt. Yet you brutalized him as he was dying because the murderer accused him of racism, after which your anti-racism training kicked in. There are allegations that the police officers laughed at him when he said he'd been stabbed. Right. He was stabbed numerous times in oxygen-rich areas, including the face. He would have been absolutely covered in blood. He was also neither armed nor aggressive. So quite what the justification was for cuffing him and dragging him across the gravel is also mysterious. It's not mysterious. Ethelstan, right? He done a racism while white, right? And thus the full sanction of the law must apply to him, right? The anti-white law.
Oh, no. The accusation of being racist as well.
There are also accusations that when his father showed up, they grabbed his father's phone to look through it and see if they could find any racism on his phone, because they realized how badly this was going. So you rock up, your son's lying dead and bleeding on the ground, and the first thing the police officer does is grab your phone and look to see if he can dig up any racism on you so that it can be excused. Fucking mate.
Yeah, what do you mean by this text? He's like, I think there's more pressing things right now.
Oh, it's so fucking grim, mate, right? But don't worry, police are sorry, right? Speaking of police being sorry, the two wholesome Chungus Muslim gentlemen seen in this clip were just let off from literally beating police officers on camera at fucking Manchester Airport.
Whoa,
because
bro.
The jury...
It's just an 18-second clip. Clearly, there could be context that could be added to this to justify it, right?
Because the jury was Muslim, because it's fucking Manchester, right? So, I mean, just fucking...
Mm-hmm.
And he literally, why do we have female police officers?
What's really strange, what's really annoying is that during the Derek Chauvin trial, George Floyd was 6'5", 240, and Derek Chauvin was 5'7", 140, and everybody was saying, why is Derek Chauvin even a cop? He's 5'7", 140, and then it's oh, why are women police officers? I never got a response to that. Can you believe it?
So there you go, right? Totally wholesome Chungus. The police, I think, arrested them because they got in a fight at the fucking airport, right? And now apparently, right, the judge is going after Nigel Farage because he branded the Manchester Airport assault trial two-tier justice. The observation made by Farage was potentially a contempt of court, as it implied the guilt of the defendants, right?
How can you ever imply that?
The video got leaked, so everybody fucking saw them punching the crap out of the police officers on film, right? But they're not guilty because fucking
dude. The mayor of Chicago, there's it's getting hot outside, so everyone gets all shooty and violent, and so there's mass 50 youths all get together, run around, cause chaos. And the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, is going to hold social media accountable for this. That's what he said. I'm not kidding.
Damn that social media. Damn those social and economic circumstances. I guess we'll have to do a wholesome Chungus communism, or the violence will never stop.
Well, it's not communism, okay? It's just steps toward communism.
Right. I'm done. You got your
dynamite. Now, speaking of getting frisky in the streets, sure.
Should we do more soupies before we?
It does feel appropriate, doesn't it?
It does. Andrew Corrigan for $10. Thank you very much.
Wait, tomorrow. There we go.
I want to harden my R, but I don't want my little Ardy sticker to turn black. I guess I'll stay a soft, a yellow fella.
Does it really, why would it restart your badge if you change tiers? I don't know if that's true because you're still a member. I imagine it would stay the same.
You should look into that, mate.
But that's a really funny thing to say.
Theodore McCarthy for $10.
There you go.
Comparing the grape gangs to the Holly is very offensive. The grape gangs actually happen.
That's the real offense here. I mean, that's right out. You wish you could say that, right?
Yeah.
In your country.
Yeah. King Spectre for $5. Thank you, mate.
Oh
Never again means import third world monsters to subject worse upon your host nation that was kind enough to take you in after many reasons not to. Yeah, precisely. And King Spectre again for $5. Oh my God.
Lightning. The man's lightning. His picture, for those who are just listening, is a picture of the lady we were making fun of with a hat and the classic swirly water slide sideburns.
As an American, I demand a cultural exemption to be able to open carry in the UK. It's a core part of my culture and identity to be strapped. Look, absolutely. Look, I totally agree. I totally agree. And since I identify as a trans American and it's also a core part of my identity, I also demand the same rights. Andrew Corrigan for $5. Gonna go play Minecraft with my son. Aw, wholesome.
Nice.
So obligatory restart the stream at a later time, more convenient for me. Super chat. Peace, fellas and fellas. Thanks very much, man.
That's what's up, dog. Hell yeah.
Kipper Master member for 4 months. What's the sentence going to be? You think? Oh, man,
yeah,
probably
Don't
nothing.
think about it, do you? Right?
Probably nothing. It'll probably get like fucking, I don't know, like a year or like if that. Like this is what everyone's like waiting for, basically, right? And of course, the mother who like literally hid the murder weapon, right? What's her sentence going to be? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Zafari for $5. Thank you very much. The evil racism has such a grip on the West that you can't even die with dignity or get help. The current law only serves chaos and death. Yeah, well,
for certain people.
For certain people. Yeah. Not for everyone. Okay, Super Chat's achieved. On with your package.
So, fellas, let's lighten this up a little bit, okay? Let's go back to America and watch these two activists turn on each other. Now, this might remind you of a fight you may have had with your older or younger sibling where you put your hand in the face of the person, right? Because it's non-violent. You can't be violent against people, so they have to non-violently try to assault each other right now. I love it.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
No one can move away from each other, okay? They both have to stand right there and do this to each other. I've never been in a predicament like that where I'm like, oh, I don't want to be near such a person like this.
This is the most passive-aggressive shit I've ever seen in my life.
You break your mother. You're gonna break his umbrella.
Aha, well, now she's upgraded to an umbrella. So now what can happen?
It's not.
Ma'am, you're the one using the umbrella.
Let go. You use it as a weapon. I'm covering you.
And then she goes, you could use it as a weapon. I'm the victim. Oh, no. And she's like chewing on the umbrella, trying to talk to her. No, I'm just using it as cover so you can't look at me. These are the people. These are the useful idiots on the ground that ICE has to deal with, which we'll cover in just a moment.
I'm trying. She's holding on to it. She's holding on to it. I'm protecting. All I wanted was her camera. All I wanted was her camera. I'm protecting myself. From what? Protecting myself.
I love it. Another camera. There's cameras everywhere at this protest. And then she walks away with a little house of signs. Now, things do escalate, fellas, at these protests. It's not all fun and games.
Wait, hang on. Where are these protests again? I've seen so many of them. It all just starts to blur together.
I believe it's Newark, New Jersey, but it's in New Jersey.
Oh, right near where the World Cup's about to happen in about like 10 days. Oh, that's amazing. I'm sure there's no overlap or anything, right? They won't be like, oh, I don't know, sapping police resources while like, I don't know, some kind of like false flag happens to, I don't know, like get war with Iran going again because there's a danger of peace breaking out.
Now, this does make sense when you say like gearing them up and getting ready, because why is it happening here? And it's happening very viciously. So the way that the trainers would talk to them is like really encouraging them to go out and like get creative. What they usually say is get creative, which means we're going to be hands off and sweep for you in the media.
What are
you guys transporting? Why the fuck do you have an AK out?
Excuse me, why the fuck do you have an AK out?
There's no way anyone from ICE is carrying a fucking Kalashnikov. Like, does he just? He probably just.
This is a peaceful protest. What are you doing there with a fucking bazooka? Like, dude, get whatever you're naming, get it right, okay? If you're gonna be angry,
you're American. For the love of God, like you should be able to distinguish between an AK and an AR. Like,
You have an AK out. Excuse me, a fucking AR.
Excuse me, a fucking AR. See, he is American after all. Okay, excuse me, an AR. That was the issue. The only issue the guy had was you saying the wrong name of the gun. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Please go back to spitting in my face, sir.
What the fuck is that for? Who are you gonna shoot, bitch? Who are you gonna shoot? Who are you gonna shoot? What's the fucking AR for? What's the fucking AR for? Why are you guys out here?
Now, it seems like we should be able to do something about this, right? Like, the left morphs language so often where can't we just call this criminal harassment? Threatening a federal agent during an investigation? Can't we do that? Do we have to let them be there? It's always mystifying to me. Is that a joke in other countries with how much
Ardy, right? As a Euro cuck, right? I have to ask you, right? Like, what are guns actually for?
Like, it feels like you've heard my perspective where it feels like that being in an area that's like this.
They're like you know, like tiki fetish objects. Right? You just like wave them around. They don't have any like actual purpose, right? I mean,
but like, why can't we charge them and then maximize the charges? I don't know if we have the judges on our side like they do. It's really, I assume what it comes down to, and the AGs.
Make go home! Make go home! You guys are so strong! You guys are so strong! I see you guys escalating with fucking AR-15. Let go! I see you guys escalating with AR-15. Fucking coward! Back up! Yeah, you're so mad about our First Amendment.
Yeah, you're so mad about our First Amendment, Saul Alinsky. Have the enemy live up to their own book of rules. When in fact, this is not the First Amendment. You are clearly interfering. I don't know why blocking traffic isn't the First Amendment. It bothers me to no end. And it honestly made me disengage with even criticizing the left. I'm surprised I've even covering this right now.
You know, when I've watched so much of this like fucking protest footage by now, right? Like when I hear this kind of stuff, what goes through my mind is like that meme from American Psycho where he's got like the headphones on. It's just like, you know, got that like blissful expression on his face. Oh, dude.
Watch your back!
This is what makes people in this country want to be like China and Russia, right? This kind of shit, and they like, well, we have to use non-lethal things. Why? What if you say we're going to be bringing only lethal things, and we're warning you right now that just can never happen? There's nothing we can do. We have to let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like some states government shit like issue as well. I don't know. It just seems fucking, but on the other hand, right? Like if they, you know, open fire on a bunch of like retards. Yeah.
Well, we gotta set us. Yeah, if Chud did what he did, now we need the feds to do. Okay, they need to do the Chud version of that. And as we all know very well, Bullets are just little
It's
stones.
like, well, bullets are little stones.
Okay.
Look me in the eyes,
I love how that guy doesn't have to wear a mask. And he's not afraid for his face to be everywhere. Wild how he has the freedom to do that.
Don't put that in my food. Giving you a low floor. Don't do it again.
So that's the level of antagonization. Now, this is a different guy, okay? Different guy, and then after they go and do this type of antagonization, they tell stories like this. Let's see if we can believe his story of him protesting that night on a different experience.
Look, this is an update from Delaney in Newark, New Jersey. Tensions continue to rise here. ICE agents are incredibly hostile. I've seen multiple people hit with nightsticks. A woman got hit with a nightstick. It actually cut her head open. I saw an individual who, trying to run away from ICE, kind of got pinned underneath a tractor trailer, and an ICE agent approached him and proceeded to hit him or attempt to hit him.
Proceeded to attempt to hit him. I love it, dude. He proceeded to attempt to hit him. It can't come out fucking quick enough, dude. And then these are the people that might be on a jury, right?
Yeah.
What if he gets a jury summons?
With the nightstick as he was trapped partially underneath the tractor trailer. OC spray everywhere. Pretty much everybody got sprayed with pepper spray. I caught more of a direct spray here at the end. I'm fine, but I will continue to give updates throughout the day tomorrow and throughout the night tomorrow, and bring you the latest of what's coming and what's happening.
As we've shown, they have like legitimate news media that gets to go and stream and cover these things.
Oh no, man. Pepper spray everywhere.
Stinky.
So, hey, what about the black proletariat? Okay, now this guy is in a truck, garbage truck, I believe, and he's trying to get through. And there's going to be an argument, but I believe between protesters to be like, "Hey, man, our problem's not with the working man." And then I guess like the other person would, he would essentially be a scab for working when they don't want it because they want to be no one to be working during this. I imagine that's what it is. Normally we would call this chimping out, fellas, and especially in the wake of Chud the Builder. And any other time we would call it chimping out.
No, it's not. No. It's not chimping out, right? Dude's trying to do a job.
Exactly.
They blocked his fucking truck. I don't think if you are engaged in like honest employment, you can truly chimp out, right? Like,
you're going to get fired.
Chimping out is like the like you don't see like any like truck drivers like chipping out. I don't know, man. Like it just seems like it's an activity of the unemployed.
Yeah, I was obviously being facetious right now. Though, how funny would it be if one of the Antifa dudes said he's chimping out? I'd lose it. I wouldn't. My brain wouldn't know what to do if Antifa said he's chimping out.
That would be hilarious.
Too meta, too high level.
Nobody go to jail. That's why I'm going to jail, right? Come on. What's wrong with y'all, man? Come on, man.
Relax.
So this is what happens if you push back. You're supposed to support whatever your allies are doing. Now, again, I'm going to cover this again, and I'm going to cover it until the day that I die. They're non-violence. They're non-violent direct action. Non-violence means toward people. Do not hurt people. You can destroy property. That's not considered violence. However, if somebody is going to do something risky, you are not supposed to stop them from doing something risky. This is explicitly how they train each other. So he is doubting his comrade is how this is perceived right now.
Listen, man, I got a question maybe you can clear up for me, right? If silence is violence and words are violence, then isn't like stopping someone like a member of the proletariat from like doing their job, isn't that like economic violence? Like, aren't you contributing to like poverty, or is that just like one of those special exceptions?
No,
I've just got to like
you're
learn.
you're a scab, because we're all saying we're not going to be working, and if you work, we're going to get mad at you. You're a scab at that point when we're all deciding to not work and be here.
Right.
Now he is but that guy is not a comrade. They have to fight racism on behalf of that guy by standing in front of his truck and making sure he loses his job. You understand, right?
Right. Okay. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah,
It's
thank
an
you for
American
explaining
thing.
that.
Yeah.
These are working class people just like us, bro. These are working class people just like us. What the fuck do you actually know about theory if you're not here for the working class?
What the fuck do you actually know about theory? So, fellas, in the streets right now, the left is divided. I've never seen this. Them arguing about theory in the middle of the street.
Do you even read theory, bro?
In person? I've never seen. We've seen so much of this footage. Have you ever seen this? Them arguing about theory.
I have not.
Right?
I have not.
That's a new one. It
That is a
seems
new
like
one.
this honestly supports your theory. They are really trying to flood people out there like too quickly. And these are not people that are trained.
This is working class people just like us. Those are the working class traitors, not them. These are not the working class.
He's really going to regret those gauges in 15 years. Anyway. So, fellas, it's been escalating. There was a guy that made one of the most gratuitous death threats I think I've ever heard at a protest. And let's see if anything's going to be done about it.
Okay, let's talk about what you can and cannot tolerate. This is video from last night. This is one of those rioters and him shouting death threats at ICE officers. Watch.
I'll kill your whole... Oh, I guess I shouldn't say it. I don't even want to say it on YouTube.
Yeah. Let's just say he's being extremely robust and threatening with his speech.
He's saying
crossing the line, one might say.
He's going to make his family sleep for an extra long time. Your children and your wife are all going to be very tired.
All day. Punch it, my boy. I have your face, mother. You're dead. Dead.
You're dead. Your children, your wife, your whole family.
Now, of course, that was clipped out of context. It's a very nuanced conversation of what the guy was talking about, right? It's
Ardy,
justifiable.
Can you scroll back to that individual who was making those threats? My moodar is getting a tickle.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, you're thinking like Ash Kashnazi?
Yeah, possibly. Hard to say.
That is a good point. He is hiding a very weak chin with that beard, which is very common for that.
Curly beard, you know.
Your children, your wife, your whole family, I'll kill them all. And then ironically says,
to me, this is controlled opposition by sounding so calm. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think we should do something about that? Yeah, I do. I think we should do something about that. I don't think it should have happened in the first place, that he was even in a position to do it.
I have your face. We all have his face.
Yeah, so do we. And look, that's a federal crime. And not only threatening the ICE officer, but think about how disgusting this individual is, threatening his family and his children.
Okay, like, dude, I'm sorry. As you're saying this and you're talking about the guy's death threats, look at the footage they're playing of what they're fucking doing, dude. They're like, the words, the death threats are very secondary to the physical obstruction that they're doing with the federal government, and they don't take you people seriously. I don't take you seriously. They don't take you seriously. Are you going to arrest the guy?
That dude is about to get sucked underneath that truck, man.
It's incredible. And
like, we're about to get one of those like Indian videos. Like, if this motherfucker isn't careful. Oh my God.
Arden Party knows all about those videos.
Threatening his family and his children with death. What is this man doing? He's just doing his job standing there. And so that is disgusting, that what you just showed, and we see his face, and I promise you, we will find him. And when we find him, we will arrest him, because it is a crime.
They're going to arrest him. They're not even going to throw the book at him or anything like that. They're going to arrest him, and he's going to be let go pretty quickly afterwards. I doubt they're going to make an example of him.
Yeah.
Now, fellas, Justin, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is moving forward. So this is like the reason why ICE should be wearing face masks. We can all agree, right?
Right.
Okay. Governor Kathy Hochul is moving forward with a ban on ICE agents wearing masks. Just one day after a leftist rioter told an ICE agent in Newark, "I have your face. You a dead man."
An
I
agitator.
mean, wait, pause it.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like, what if ICE just says no, fuck you? Right? Like what are they gonna get the New York police
to like no ICE there?
ICE, like, mate, this whole thing is like due for like a massive collision. Or do you think this is a deliberate move to keep ICE away from New York so that when the World Cup happens, you know?
I mean, that is their hub of being able to organize some protests is New York, but they really can't. They ship the people everywhere. So very interesting.
An agitator telling an agent, "I have your face," and threatening to kill his family. A different scene right now in New York City with protesters outside Governor Kathy Hochul's office here in New York City. And just hours ago, that was on the topic of masked ICE agents is when that took place. She said this.
"We are banning masks for all law enforcement."
What are these two brown immigrant children doing sitting next to her? Look at how demoralized the one in the red jacket is on the right. Look at these political fucking props that are sitting next to her right now. They're not explained. They never explain them. You know when you watch a movie and you go, why did that happen in that last scene? Like a shitty B movie. I don't know why they're there.
Well, they're there because they're brown, right?
No, they're the only function of them is for King Spectre to take a screen cap of one of their faces.
Yeah, the one on the right, Spectre. Look.
In the state of New York, people have rights that we are not foregoing just because there's been this decision by the Trump administration to unleash hell in our streets. And this is a moment for us.
And now the Justice Department is vowing to take action against that New Jersey rioter you just saw. The law states that a violent threat made to a federal official carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years. Lisa, what a juxtaposition.
This bothers me so badly. What about all the violence and the harassment and the impeding investigations? Why do we care so much about the threat? Oh, my God. So this is Fox News, fellas, okay? Now, I noticed this today. I'll play a little bit.
Kill you, your whole family, while we say they can't.
So something's happening in my brain where I saw that it's Fox News and it's 4 women and a black guy. We're never going to know how the rest of this video goes because I've refused to watch the rest of it. I was like, why is it 4 women and a black guy on Fox News talking about this? And so we will never know how that video ever ends. So now, of course, Savannah Hernandez asking the very important question that I also want an answer to. The fact that radical left-wing agitators have been allowed to commit felonies and attack ICE agents for 5 straight days is embarrassing. How is it so difficult to stop left-wing terrorists from committing acts of violence on our streets? An excellent question indeed. And now before my eyeballs pop out of my fucking skull, let's just talk. Let's cool it down. You know what, Fist, you're getting a little heated right now, okay? Let me calm you down. Let's talk about the boomers versus the millennials. Not focus on the violence that there's nothing we can do about.
This should be great. Actually, wait, let's do super chats before we
sure.
James Lindsay's hands for $5. Thank you very much. The left hand wipes the right side of the bottom. Now, mate, that's some real wisdom right there. That's going to give me the big thing.
He would say something like that. That's you can't be too ridiculous with James Lindsay.
The left hand grips the right side of the burger. You know. Pokem Strokem for $5. Thank you, mate. Symphony of Destruction Part 2.
Gets it, bro. I hope I couldn't have made Chimphany. It's gonna be very similar to woke right. Okay, James Lindsay didn't create it. Okay, but gosh darn it, he popularized it.
Master Check for $5. Thank you, mate. By Apocalypse Now.
Yesterday, not now. Yesterday, I needed that by Apocalypse yesterday.
And Theodore McCarthy for $10. Thank you very much, mate. We don't want to be China or Russia. We just want to be the America of Kent State University circa May 4th, 1970. Yeah. Yeah. Problem, and the fucking leftists whinge about it at the end of fucking time. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. So yes, let's get into this. This was fun to watch.
Hosted by a gay. You know what? I'm gonna get away from the 4 women and the 1 black guy, and I'm gonna have to settle for a gay white guy. I can't outrun this stuff fast enough.
Is this part of the Walker gay movement?
Dude, but he's like, it's like the trans thing, right? He's stuck being gay. That was cool during the walk away campaign, but now you're stuck that way.
Side of the political spectrum has taken a much firmer stance on H-1B visas compared to the Trump administration. Many of them want to send all H-1B workers back to their home country and terminate the program, while the Trump administration is expanding it. Let's take a look. The graphic on the screen shows the disparity in income between the wages of American citizens and the wages of H-1B visa holders along a spectrum of multiple professions. So which direction is more likely to help the American people?
Well, I think that the graph is a pretty telling story right there. And I think that this gets back to the conversation where I just feel like boomers never dealt with this. I feel like boomers never dealt with a job market that was inflated by foreigners. And this is where I think that millennials are a little more resentful to the Republican Party, even spiteful and contentious, you might say, is because we continue to get screwed over on this thing. Trump was supposed to be different, and he's going right back to the same neocon boomer policies that have been angering my generation since we've gotten out of college. And so you just see it again. They say one thing, they do the complete opposite. And to us, it's like, why are you doing this to us again? And it doesn't matter if you're a left-wing millennial, a right-wing millennial. We're all having to deal with this.
Into this, because I think one of the main reasons I wanted to do this conversation is when we look at the generational divide, that piece of the divide that's happening in MAGA right now, what I find, and obviously I'm generalizing, is that it seems like within the boomer generation, there is a lot of resistance to any sort of criticism of Trump. And I don't really understand that. So I'll let you guys speak for yourselves here, but what is your position on that when we talk about, Trump wanting to expand the H-1B program?
Well, here's the thing. I think that there's a little bit of confusion here between the conservative movement or movement conservatism and MAGA. MAGA is a marriage of convenience between a lot of different interests that came together to elect Donald Trump to enact certain policies that they all sort of agreed on. And
so this guy is conservativehq.com. I think he's an editor there. It's his accolade. It's kind of who he is. And boy, oh boy, are we off to a rough start. They act like they're like contextualizing something. It really feels like you're listening to the script. Like, okay. Harrison Smith really trying right now.
They are justifiably pissed because Trump has walked away from some of those things, or at least not got them done as.
Look at how pissed Owen Schroyer already looks. Look at the inquisitive nature of the 2 other men. His legs are not crossed. He's ready to leap across the fucking aisle if he has to.
Alex Stein, like leaning back, being like,
fast as he said he would during the campaign. The conservative movement is an entirely different thing. It is based on a set of principles that Trump has, a very limited, affinity for, but essentially, Judeo-Christian values.
And there it is. It's just boomer is just neocon. And now in their defense, they were indoctrinated with it. I absolutely understand that.
Yeah, they really were. Like it's like the power of the Goy beam is just amazing, man. I'm kind of just in awe at like the scale of the psyop. Like it's just incredible.
Sure. Now I have a limited amount of empathy for the boomer because the outcome is the only thing that matters at a certain point, right? It then becomes like choosing to be ignorant. You didn't have this information available to you, so how could you know? I understand that. They don't want to know. They just want to play with their toys until they die, and it's very frustrating.
Government informed by the Declaration of Independence, implemented by the Constitution, classical economics, free market economics, and I would suggest also the lessons of World War II and the Cold War regarding threats to our freedom.
George, where is this Trumpless conservative movement that you're referring to? I'm not seeing.
I think it's over here, I would say.
Okay.
And I would say too.
I was going to say it's right here.
There were two things.
Yeah.
Well, there were two things that you said, and I'm curious if we can expand on these things that I know we are sick of. I think I speak for most of our generation. Judeo-Christian values. Just please toss that out of the ring if we're talking politics. I don't even want to hear it.
He's not having it. He is not having it.
Spicy.
And
I like it.
As far as World War II is concerned, are we ever going to like move on? Like, can we ever have a country and a foreign policy that isn't tied into the results of World War II?
Would you say Owen Schroyer speaks pretty much on behalf of the millennials on the dissident right wing when those are two things that me and you really drive home?
Yeah.
Pretty often.
Yeah, he does. And it's like a lot of this stuff. I mean, the post-war consensus, what did academic agent call it? The boomer truth regime, right? Yeah. A lot of, this started to like come out. I think it was like a couple of years ago, actually, right? Like just how everything is set in World War II. Like all morality is derived from World War II, all religion is derived from World War II. Everything is derived from World War II. And shit is breaking down now, right? Like it is like what they say about, it happens slowly and then all at once, right? Like hyperinflation and a lot of these sort of like quasi-organic processes. It is really seriously breaking down. And for the boomers, like they're not going to be able to recalibrate like any more than they're going to be able to like learn how to use digital ID on their phone. Right? The world is going to change and they're going to be like locked out. It's sad, honestly, but it is what it is.
It's a thread that unravels a very large kippa.
Yes, I think that's,
why not?
I think that's key.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that is right. That's the definition of boomer, right? It's the baby boomers after the war. It's as soon as the war is over is when that generation starts. So, in a way, I sort of feel for you guys in that you were like the most affected by the change of attitude after the war in every different way. And
Harrison Smith being the great unifier, couching his language by the likes of which I've never seen right now. He is trying to say, how do I actually make this digestible for the boomer? And he's doing a good job so far, I think.
One of the main ways was a major focus on like removing race from the conversation. I feel like when you talk about immigration, to me, race has a lot to do with it. And I feel like boomers were so indoctrinated throughout their childhood, right after World War II, it was like, racism is the big evil, that becomes an issue because other races like the Indian, when we talk about H-1Bs, Indians have a very, strong, group in America that is operating on a racial basis. And I feel like one of the biggest.
So I have been sort of like pondering this like quite a bit. Okay. Because you're not allowed to have a realistic history of World War II, because that might imply that it was the actions of sort of, the moves in Germany that sort of provoked the situation. That is obviously like, very, very anti-citrus. What has happened is that the initiating reason to explain this event that has become sort of the foundational moral core of the West has had to be shifted off onto these like very, very vague premises like racism, right? So because the Moos did nothing wrong, therefore the reason why World War II happened was racism. So therefore we must absolutely never allow racism or it'll be like World War II again, right? Like that's the fundamental like logical change.
Certainly feels like it.
Yeah.
Weaknesses of the boomer generation that allowed America to become weak was that part of humanity, of the human experience, has been ignored. And anytime I try to talk about race to boomers, it's the boomers who will get very uncomfortable and very reticent to ever bring that up. And I feel like that's, again, it's the boomer generation.
Even conservative boomers now feels liberal. No matter how conservative the boomer is, if they actually can't talk about race, it feels automatically liberal, which is why I'm very interested in hearing, okay, all right, fine, Democrats, you're trying to appeal to white men. You're trying to appeal to the men part of the white men. How are you going to appeal to the white part of the white men? Even the right has a tough time doing that. So I cannot wait to see what their strategy is going to be.
This is why the left has advanced so precipitously. And many people have pointed this out, right? The boomer right basically adopts all of the fundamental starting premises of the left. This is why they can't beat the left. Because they're just trying to argue on exactly the same basis. And until that changes, which I think it actually is now changing, there will be no like serious resistance.
Well, yeah, that's why I say with like the left, you can't even engage with them a little bit. It has to be cold turkey. You can't even, not even a tiny bit. None of it's true. You have to wholesale turn your back on all of it. Well, no, but they have some good ideas. They still have their hooks in you if that's how you think.
Generation weak. I think, is it a weak generation? I would say that they allowed incrementally their country to be stolen from them, and we're sort of constantly, it's like, well, what's the problem with the guy? This guy, I mean, he's a great worker, it's fine. And it's like, well, okay, his whole family's coming, and okay, well, now his whole neighborhood has changed, and okay, now, and so it's like you have to sort of be more hardcore and go, I don't care if it's mean, it's our country, you can't have it.
Well,
and I feel like boomers are weak in that regard.
A view that's universally shared by millennials. I haven't seen any sign of that.
Well, I would say that the people that are mad at Donald Trump are.
I haven't seen that in my gated community. Such a boomer response. Well, I haven't seen that.
For people like myself, when a guy that I debated for, a guy that I voted for 3 times, said that he was going to deport all these illegals, and yet he's deported less people than Barack Obama, a guy that we all don't like. And then if you actually kind of look at the conspiracy behind that, it's because he has all these multinational corporations in his ear basically calling the shots when he says at the beginning of his presidency, well, the hotel workers, they get to stay, it's no big deal. So yeah, I do think that they are being, and like I said, I like Donald Trump, but he's been incredibly weak when it comes to immigration. When he campaigned that he was going to build a wall, they can't find any money to build a wall. They can't find, any solution to the SAVE Act. So it seems like if he really was authoritarian, like the left describes him, he would be able to do all this stuff that he said he was going to do.
Right. Or if the wall was on the other side of the planet, we could build it like that.
This question, though, because this is a point at which I vehemently agree.
Yes.
We've witnessed on our watch, yes, probably not because of conservatives, but because of the left and the establishment, Republicans particularly, this incremental boiling of the frog.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is where, to answer the
you
question.
agree with that? I mean,
well, I think
Harrison, obviously, but is that speaking for millennials?
Well, let me try to rephrase it and go back to what you said. When I said, we don't want to hear about this post-World War II foreign policy anymore, he said, no, we can't move on. And we're sitting here ripping our hair out. We're like, why? Why can we never move on? Why do I have to sit here and hear about blacks are victims, Jews are victims? I'm sick of it. Why?
Owen going for the throat, dude. And, and this is what I want people to realize in debates sometimes. Sometimes they want always bring up the moos, bring up the blacks. Like, it depends on the time and the place. Obviously, like here, I was actually surprised that he was really bringing that up as a strong point of contention. I don't normally hear him talk about the moos a lot. Do you?
No, but I mean, I don't watch his show.
Sure.
Like maybe I should, but I find InfoWars like generally a bit. I don't know. I tend to go for sort of more foreign policy like stuff. That's what I like listen to in my off time. But I mean, look, he raises like a really, really good point that is being felt all over the West at this point. Okay, at what point, like since the entire structure has now been premised on how much victimhood any group has, at what point are whites able to take part in this distribution of victimhood? If that's the only game in town, if everyone has to play it, right?
Yes.
Like, everybody else is like playing. It's like ethnocentrism, right? Like, we didn't want to play this game, but it's the only game in town. Every single other like government decision is premised. All of the like thought framing is premised on this. At what point,
Well, you just want to know what the rules of the game are.
We know what the rules of the game are, right? It's just that there's like torrents and torrents of like ideological like bullshit infecting people's brains so that they are unable to correctly interpret what their fucking eyes are like seeing, right? This is a deliberate form of propaganda to just stop people from thinking clearly.
But I see sometimes with like dissident content creators where somebody will like want the person, like with Owen's debate with Andrew Wilson. It's there's a time and a place for it. You got to wait. So like in this situation, very effective, very appropriate time for it.
What are we doing here? Foreign policy? Russia is the boogeyman? Am I stuck in the Cold War?
Have to do with each other?
Because this is it. This is the grasp that we can't get rid of.
Different things, though.
But it's not. It's overall. It's everything. It's everything. We're sitting here saying we all agree the country's going the wrong way. We all agree we've incrementally watched our country get stolen. Millennials are saying let's do it differently, and the boomers keep doing the same thing over and over.
Oh no, hold it. I disagree with that totally. I mean, this is why I talk. I've said this before a million times. There's too many people, especially millennials, who think that history started in 2015 when Donald Trump came down the escalator. And
what?
I don't think that's true at all.
Is this boomer fucking talking about? Too many 40-year-olds think history started 10 years ago?
No, I mean, I watched a bit of this, and he is trying to make, like, he starts talking about Reagan. I don't know if it's in this like clip or not.
Probably not.
He starts basically making the point that exactly the same thing that happened with Trump happened with Reagan, right? That like, you know, Reagan like promised all of this stuff. He was going to be like based right wing and like do like based world. And then once he got into office, amazingly, for some reason that just, you know, no one can ever figure out, he didn't. And so the boomers are saying to the millennials, like, oh yeah, you're like, what, first time? Well, it's like your first time being betrayed by a fucking politician. Like, get used to it.
Someone in the chat makes a good point. After Owen explicitly goes well before 2015, the boomer goes, well, I just don't agree. I mean, all you kids think about is nothing happened before 2015. Disagree? You didn't listen to a word he said. You can't disagree. You didn't listen to him.
all of these issues that you're bitching about have been fought time and time and time again.
And we thought Trump was going to be different. That's what we're saying. And it was the same thing.
By the way, so did we.
So did we.
So to your point, I think about immigration, right? But
no.
Immigration is not only damaging, but it's also a betrayal. Right? And that's
Karen Sigmund of the president of the American Freedom Alliance. Interesting.
You're suffering the effects economically, the financial.
All right, let's cover some ground. Let's go to deportations real quick. Here we are.
Out here because we tried it your way and all it's done is cause the problem.
It appears that the current administration is softening its stance on deportations.
700 officers leaving Minneapolis. Did that come from you?
Yes, it did. I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people we're getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now in farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now.
Seems like a drastically different stance than he had before. Does this worry you?
Yes.
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 And
what's going on?
That was one of the first instances where I was prepared to walk away from Donald Trump after working my tail off in 3 elections and putting a lot of time, effort, blood, treasure, etc., into getting him reelected. To see him back off from that was beyond disappointing.
Why do you think it's happening?
I'm going to agree with my millennial friends over here that it is the influence of big business. And I've seen it in my home state of Florida, where we have the Disney company firing 2,000 American creators and technicians and hiring 2,000 foreigners and demanding that the Americans train them.
Right.
Is that what you think?
Well, I can't disagree. I mean, that is just observably true. And I think Trump has all but admitted it without putting it into words. But I think that if you look at this from like a domino effect, why is he saying we need a softer touch? Why has there been this issue getting the illegals out of the country? And I think you kind of have to go back and look at the larger administration. And Pam Bondi, who I think has been maybe the biggest letdown of the administration, she was supposed to shut down these organizations. She was supposed to shut down the organizers and the funders. She didn't do it. So they got all these protesters out on the street. Now you got 2 of them dead. They try to go do a deportation operation in, you name it, Minnesota, wherever. And now they're out on the street. They're disrupting it. And so now the Trump administration is sitting here with 2 dead bodies saying, fuck, what are we going to do? Just call it off. There's nothing else we can do. And so I go back, and I'm not trying to get stuck in a foreign policy rut, but I think it applies. Again, I'm saying, where can we get things done? We can get things done in every other country in the world. No problem. It's all getting done. Money, manpower, resources, equipment, you name it. We got it. But if we want to do a mass deportation here, sorry, can't help you. Can't even get the protesters on.
We got war in Iran before we deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That's where we're at in this country.
And one thing for me, it's like, you know, I love the Constitution and I believe in our right to protest, but it seems like this administration is more worried about anti-Semitism on college campuses than they are about people getting raped, like Lake and Ryan. And you would think that that would be, you know, a little higher on their priority.
Millennial daggers over here. And then the boomers just sit there and go, yeah, I'm the whole time they're speaking to the boomers. He's like, I can't wait to go home, my gated community.
When Alex is saying people being raped, I mean, what kind of people is he talking about? I mean, that's the sort of like really sort of essential point I feel like he's missing here. You know what I mean?
He's talking to a boomer. He's trying to he's got a quick amount of time to try to explain it to a boomer's attention span.
Yeah.
While they're thinking about, you know, using their foot bath and their jacuzzi and their, you know, that's all they're thinking about. He's living in Florida. He's living the life. And he's like, if only you guys could do what I do.
And kids protesting and holding a sign that maybe it is anti-Semitic, but at the end of the day, we do have the First Amendment. We have right to, you know, freedom of speech, and it seems like they're taking away our rights to protect a certain group, and they should be protecting all of us by kicking out these illegal immigrants and the jihadis. We want them gone too, but it just doesn't seem like the administration is focused on that. They're focused on very narrow things that actually don't benefit the Americans that voted for them.
Yeah, but that's what really worries me. I got to tell you, is those
protests
that got in here.
But is protesting
millions over those open borders.
Well, Frank, let me ask you this.
Perhaps just one more thing. Perhaps as many as 200,000 Chinese soldiers who got in. I haven't heard a word from the administration about deporting any of those people.
In fact, to the contrary,
let alone getting up.
we brought up the 600,000 students who are here, and I believe Donald Trump first said.
So I actually, this kind of venerates Nick Fuentes when they were talking about Muslims, and he's like, no, that's just to take the focus off the moos. When you talk to the boomer, they will go, when you start talking about the moos, they'll go, what about the Chinese? What about the Russians?
What about the Muslims? Yeah, and by the way, this is exactly why Tommy Robinson was birthed, right? Don't get me wrong, I do not have any particular love, right, like for the Muslims, like generally. Although, right, like not to be like it's actually really complicated, but there are variations like between them, okay? But
yes, I agree.
Tommy Robinson's like specific function was to do exactly that. Right, was to take any focus like off the Moorish influencing government and just direct everybody against the Muslims while they were importing like more and more of them.
So now we're going to go to the post-World War II consensus.
But that's what this is. It's like, okay, boomer, here we go again. It's like, okay, boomer, here we go again. Okay, boomer, you believe the official narrative of 9/11. It's like, okay, you believe the official moon landing. It's just like, oh my gosh, okay, boomer. Oh, it's like, can we ever move on? Like, can we ever do something for our country? We're sick of this same policy, no matter who's in power.
Which policy are you talking about that you're sick of? Exactly.
I'm stuck in a post-World War II world. I'm stuck in a post-World War II world where I have to sit here and act like every Jew is the biggest victim on the planet. I'm stuck in a post-Cold War foreign policy where Russia is still the boogeyman. None of this stuff makes sense. In fact, quite frankly, and this might be a little controversial for you, but I truly believe if we divorced completely with the Middle East and just got completely out of the Middle East and actually formed a partnership with Russia, I think that would be the most beneficial thing for our country today. I truly believe that.
Well, I just want to say this, and you know, it looks like Trump does.
Did you say something?
Yeah, pause it. Yeah, I mean, look, Schwer is right? Like, I hate to say this, right? But America and Russia are like natural allies. They literally share a goddamn border, right? Like, what's the narrowest point of the Bering Strait? Like, what, 50 kilometers or something, right? Like, they, like, you know, I was thinking about this after I watched this. If you actually had, like, some kind of, like, peace, and the US, Russia, China, and Europe were actually like free to like just properly like actually like trade, and they like, you know, stopped importing gajillion Africans and got out of the Middle East, like the amount of economic prosperity would be insane. Like, you know, Russia has like shitloads of like natural resources. China has like incredible amounts of like technical skill, right? Like the US as well. But oh no, right? Because wanting peace now, right? Like between world powers basically means like you're like gay or something, right? Like, you know, you're like, and now they're talking about fucking appeasement, right? This is another thing about the post-World War II consensus, right? Every single time you say, listen, I don't want another war between the great powers because a ton of my people are going to have to like die for like very, very shady goals. Oh, you're just an appeaser. I've got a segment from the Waltz Mearsheimer Newland debate coming up that addresses this point entirely.
Oh, very nice.
Want to get out of this Iran war, but I think that would be the best strategy to get out of it if Trump did make a deal with Putin, who is a big ally with Iran, and somehow simultaneously ended the Ukraine war and this war at the same time. I think that would be the best way to get out of this quagmire that we're currently in.
We've teamed with them before, and when they were far worse than Putin, right? We allied with Stalin, if I may be so bold as to bring up World War II. So we've allied with people who aren't our friends, because the enemy of our enemy can well be our ally in with a particular focus. Is Putin interested in this?
Yes, he's been more receptive
Since the
than
90s.
Zelensky, according to Trump.
Well, what Putin says is that he sort of routinely, after they were stabilized and everything, he would talk to presidents and say, why can't Russia just be another European country? Can we join you guys? And the president would say, you're right, you should. And then, as Putin puts it, the men in gray suits would come and say, no, we're not doing
And
that.
that's because NATO takes our money. And Trump talks about this all the time, but he won't do anything about it. NATO has raked us over the coals for billions of dollars. And that's why they wanted to keep Russia as our enemy. And of course, the United States, they get a little benefactor too with whatever insider deals that they do with the EU now. But that's what it was. If you would have cut off the rival of Russia from the United States, from the West, guess what? No need for NATO, no billions of dollars going into Europe anymore. So they said, oh, no. Well, we don't want that. We want to keep that money flowing. So there's way too much of that going on in politics.
But why do you think Trump is ideologically aligned with what you just say?
Yes, but Trump is a negotiator, and he knows NATO has huge leverage. He knows if he threatens to pull the NATO funding from Europe, that they'll basically get on their knees and beg.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I think, why Trump continues to keep us in NATO, is for that leverage in the negotiation, which I don't like, but I do think that's why.
Lot to be said for that.
I want to ask you, I think that your generation is used to politics.
Yeah. So this is an interesting point. I don't know what to make of that. He might be right. I mean, the US is starting to pull out of Europe, right? Like troops are literally leaving. They're pulling fighter jets out. They're pulling troops. The question is, if they are using this for leverage over Europe, what do they want from Europe precisely? I'm not really sure. The general tenor that I get from the US administration is that they're just fucking sick of the Europeans, quite frankly. I mean, just like a lot of the Europeans are fucking sick of the EU, because they're just like, I mean, every government is kind of retarded, okay? But the EU is like just uber retarded. Like they're so
What does it even like to take poli-sci at this point in college when you look at your country?
Fuck, man. Like, I mean, I see like stuff, right? They're gonna sit you down. They're gonna like tell you how like, free speech doesn't mean like freedom to hate, whatever the fuck that means. They're just gonna propagandize you, right? They're just gonna fill you with all of this shit about like, how your rights are like limited, and we need a gajillion fucking refugees from like bloody everywhere, and it's our moral duty to like fly around the world and like have wars in foreign countries while systematically destroying like energy grid and like any possibility of importing like the raw materials that you would need to make a fucking army. Like, I mean, this is the fucking joke, man. Like the EU at the moment, they're like, man, Russia better watch itself. We're going to go to war with like Russia. Dude, with what? You have systematically destroyed most of your like energy grid, right? You're not allowed to access like what natural minerals you have. Your greatest natural mineral supplier, which was Russia, you're not even allowed to like talk to now. Like the Americans are, just being like fucking slimy, basically. I don't know.
So let's talk about the moves a little bit. You ready for that?
Yes.
How do you think that goes?
Oh, I'm here for it. I want to.
And this is winding down now to set you up for your package. Okay.
Okay.
And the Turks and others who are part of. I mean, he's extolling the virtues of Sharia.
Do you think he's an anti-Semite?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, I would totally agree with
Do
you.
you think we're anti-Semites?
I'm getting a little bit of a feel.
Yeah, I bet you are. That's always how it starts, It always starts with the gays. Just checking it out. Yeah, that does. Yeah, you could be. When does it ever go to no? It always leads to yes once you think somebody could be, because it's a witch hunt. Yeah, back in the day, they were like, I thought she was a witch, and I decided she wasn't. No, once you have the thought in your head that they're a witch.
This is why.
I'm not anti-Semitic. My grandfather's Jewish.
A little bit of a field.
Yeah, of course you are. Just like a liberal would if we talked about race.
If you think that the Israelis are responsible for our foreign policy, they're driving it off the rails.
But you don't think they're
not an
influential
ally,
for
they're an actual enemy.
I don't think they're an enemy, but I'm saying I think they're too influential.
I'm saying that I'm getting a feel.
Why is it anti-Semitic to criticize Israel's government?
I'm saying that what I feel is when it goes from criticizing what a government does to somehow generalizing that this is actually...
You have said way more Islamophobic things than anything we've said anti-Semitic.
Do you know what's not
that's very
Islamophobic?
different.
It's pointing out the...
Are you disagreeing?
What?
That's very, very different, right?
Yes.
You can criticize like Islam as much as you want, right?
I know, but that is the perfect and correct rhetorical move. You would bait the boomer into saying all these things about Islam, and then if they're going to invoke anti-Semitism, you would say, well, what you've said has been way more Islamophobic than what I've said about the moose. That's how you play that.
With the fact that I just laid out.
Disagreeing with the fact that you've just accused me of being Islamophobic.
I think your statements dictate that.
Now, do you like how he's feeling out if Owen Schroyer, the whole boomer is mooish? This all right now is what we cover with Mark Levin all the fucking time, where the boomer gets to say to the millennial, I'm feeling out. I'm seeing if you are racist or not, or whatever it is. And then when you say back to him, well, what you're saying actually is more homophobic than what I said is racist. And he goes, don't call me homophobic. Now, when you mirror it, you have now insulted him.
The way the boomers are just like, oh my God, don't call me an ist or a phobe. Like, oh my God, like anything with that. Like, oh, just stop already. Like shit has progressed too far. Like, I'm sick of it.
Yeah, boomers being afraid of being called anti-Semitic would be the equivalent of a boomer being like, oh, I'm going to step over that. I'm like, why? He goes, if you step on a crack, you break your mother's back. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's how I feel about them actually taking that seriously at this point.
Islamophobia is an unreasoned fear.
Yeah.
And there's nothing unreasoned about the concern I have about Sharia and what it's going to do.
And there's nothing unreasoned about the concerns we have about Israel.
Well, I think it is.
What is it?
Because I think what I'm reading is you believe the Israelis are actually hostile to our country.
Yes.
And are trying to do harm to it.
They are.
I disagree with that.
At the very least, they're subverting our own interests.
No,
Can you give example?
The war in Iran.
The war in Iran, I believe, was something that was long overdue because that...
Andrew Wilson has put this into my head watching his debates where the person starts with I believe and I think, and he immediately goes, well, I believe and I think the opposite.
Yeah.
It really stands out in my brain now.
Yeah.
Was a mortal threat to this country.
They can't hit. They don't have weapons that can actually attack America.
I really wish that we had time
Frank,
to do this.
Frank, we're currently in a war with them and they can't attack us. So how could they attack us? We're in a war with them and they literally can't attack us.
We are on borrowed time, my friend.
Okay, well, once again, we're debating hypotheticals.
Yeah, so this guy keeps throughout the entire debate going, just wait and watch. Just wait and see. You're on borrowed time. Always on the horizon with the boomer.
Fucking, I got the perfect thing for that. Just 2 more weeks, bro. two more weeks.
2 more weeks for 40 years.
I'm saying we are currently engaged with a conflict with them and they can't attack us here in America, Frank.
Assassination squads that are here in this country right now with a target on Donald Trump's back.
Then why would we start a war with them before we handled that?
The genesis of Iran's war on America and how it is embedded in their regime. It is in.
Now, let me move on to what I believe is my final timestamp. And what I wrote down was anti-Israel. And I'm going to bet my bottom dollar I wrote that down for a reason.
The reason we're anti-war is because they bomb a school with 170 kids, and it's hard to defend that. You know what I mean?
Well, and you guys argue that you only care about America, you just want to put America.
I'm saying we
care about American interests, and now you seem deeply involved with Israel and Gaza and what's going on there, which really shouldn't impact your life in any way.
Well, that's not necessarily true because they dictate a lot of our foreign policy, and we send them a lot of money. So I mean, it takes my tax dollars.
It's our weaponry that they use to do it.
Statistic that indicates that
that's the IDF stats.
84%
is civilians.
I've never seen that.
Well, Google it.
But this is the thing is that when you say
a piece of this is the kind of war that they've been fighting, which they did not start, is in the worst kind of conditions imaginable.
That's not an excuse.
The worst thing I think about boomers is they will always appeal to their age. And if they're getting offended, they'll be like, listen, this is like a silly little debate and whatnot, but now you're starting to cross a line. Like their level of indignance with their age is why I think it's really hard to get through to them, because you can see with this posture right now.
I stopped watching before I got to this part. I should have just stuck with it. Look, at the end of the day, what this is always infinite excuses for Israel, right? Infinite excuses for the moves. It's like the right-wing version of the way like the leftists coddle the blacks, right? Like no matter what goes wrong, no matter what they do, there's always some wider explanation, right? Like, oh yes, you know, we like bombed all those school children, but you know, it's very difficult. He came from like a troubled home, right? Like, you know, remember the Holly, like, I mean, it's just infinite excuses. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, but you were being Islamophobic, and he goes, yeah, but that's different. This is argument. Yeah, but it's different when it's Islam.
It is an excuse if you're in a war.
I don't think it is.
It looks like
I don't
that
think it is.
Compared to what we.
Well, it's a war when one side does it. It's not a war when the other side does it.
But
And this is the logic.
Wait a minute, guys. I believe it is indisputably the case that the war that they have fought has been with the fewest casualties in urban warfare in history.
That's crazy.
Certainly far better.
Have you seen Gaza?
That is certainly far better than ours.
Unsupportable by the facts. Absolutely not.
It's a fraction of what we did in Fallujah.
As we head toward the end of this conversation.
Now you can tell that the boomer couched it by saying, I believe it's an indisputable fact. Then when he's proven wrong, well, he's technically still correct because that is his belief.
Wait. Did he just say, right, that like wiping like 70% of Gaza like off the map is acceptable because it's not as bad as what Americans did in Fallujah in service of the war that was literally started on behalf of like Israel?
Fist, what is so confusing about that?
Oh, he'd probably say like, we didn't go to war with Iraq for Israel. We went, you know, to war with Iraq for like American interests, which are, we had to like stop Saddam from having like WMDs. You know, he had like chemical weapons and shit. How do you know he had chemical weapons? Oh, because we sold them to him during the Iran-Iraq war. Like, fucking.
You know, why don't you wind down by reading some super chats and starting your package, bud?
Okay. Yes, my package is thirsty. King's Bacon for $5. Oh my god, that's a facial expression I make when I've got to like watch this slop. I have an anarcho tyranny and I must TOS. Bro. Leaf Man with a frying pan for $5. Thank you, mate. Man getting hit with a bat, sword, grenade, run over by car and shot. Right-wing news, peaceful scholars threaten man.
Right, dude. I actually have no patience for it at this point.
Yep. Jack B. Nimble for $5. Thank you very much, mate. Classical economics, like 52% of all jobs going to foreign workers since 2007. I think it's even more than that, actually. The day of the pillow cometh for boomers. Yeah. Poke Strogan for $5. Every nation had its foundational myths replaced by World War II. Only the Western nation. Actually, well, Russia as well, actually, as a matter of fact. But yes.
Yeah, it's actually illegal there to deny the Holly, isn't it? In Russia? It is.
I'm not sure. It's certainly very frowned upon. The Russians are still getting a lot of mileage out of it because of the Great Patriotic War. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't do it if I was in Russia. I'll tell you that.
I'm almost 100% positive because when I say that that the moves made it illegal for 600 million people to deny the Holly, a large portion of that included Russia.
Right. Deadpool Kid for $5. Thanks, mate. To my boomer family, yes, a part of me wants to see your precious world gone in ashes. I am the radical.
EPK is not having it.
Matty Ice for $10. Thanks very much, Matty. How you doing? We hold as our highest value set Mudeo-Christian morals, like tricking God with string.
That doesn't get old.
Yeah. TNR FNV for $10. Thank you very much, mate.
Hi there, mate.
I hear you're really concerned about the financial collapse of your country and foreign interests taking over. but have you considered how pervasive Sharia is? Yeah.
That is unironically what it feels like, because that's what it is.
Smiling Man for $20. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, buddy, awful kind of you, man.
You may call the boomer many things: lazy, entitled, out of touch, Israel worshipper, and it all washes off him like water off a duck's back. But threaten to cut his social security off and watch as he recoils. There's the pillow when. So that's a good paraphrase. Thank you, Smiley Man.
Oh, dude, it's insufferable.
Deadpool Kid for $10.
DPK.
Maybe we should ask the boomers whose fault it is for putting Iran as a hostile nation. I'll give you a hint. It's the CIA, MI6, Mossad joint operations. Stop replacing dictators. Yeah, well, I mean,
Their heart was from the right place. Okay, come on.
Yeah, they did it for the right reasons. CSI for $5. Thank you. I am CSI, and I'm here to ask you. I am CSI, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the boomer. It belongs to my retirement. No, says the man in Washington. It belongs to our greatest ally. No, says the leftist. It belongs to the migrants.
That deserves a round of applause.
Thank you very much. And John Doe for $10.
Baby.
Was trying to think of a way to open some more eyes. Is Sharia law just as bad as the Noahide laws, or is it worse? Good debate last night, Ardy. Love both of you guys.
Very much appreciated.
So under Sharia, like traditionally, you are at least allowed to sort of have a Christian community. You got to like pay the jizya, but the Muslims will fuck with you like all the time. Okay. But Sharia law is generally sort of easy to understand, right? The problem with the Noahide laws is the way they are written and the way they are interpreted is completely different, right? So the Noahide laws presume the establishment of courts. In fact, the establishment of courts is one of the Noahide laws. Who is it who runs those courts? Well, the Moos, of course, right? Because they are, you know, the most chosen, the most legalistic and all this kind of other stuff. So
yes,
when you have like, I think it's the second one or something, right? The prohibition of murder, right? You've got to think of it in terms of like, well, what does murder exactly mean, right? And this is true. So, right, like the strict Moorish interpretation under Maimonides, right, is it's murder, the most heinous murder, if a Gentile kills a Moo, but not the other way around. Okay, so you've got to remember the Noahide laws are like simple on their face, but you have to remember they are going to be filtered through a highly discriminatory, highly legalistic courts system, which is likely to make them like mean completely different things. There's actually a video on my channel, the first episode of Fistery. I go into this at some depth if you're interested, John Doe. Thank you for the super chat. Right. Oh wait, hang on. We got another one. Shlomo Goldstein for $5. Oh, Shlomo, good to see you, mate. Give me your tired, your poor, your human garbage, yearning for free shit.
Not bad, fellas.
Nice. Okay. Super chat's achieved.
I'm out of here. You're into here.
Time for my girthy package. Okay, so this runs sort of directly on from the stuff we were talking about, like Iran. Now, there was recently a monk debate between John Mearsheimer, Stephen Waltz, Victoria Nuland, and Mike Pompeo. Now, if you're not an international relations fucking retard nerd like me,
no, I am too, but explain it for our audience.
Yeah, you might not be like aware of who these people are, right? Walt and Mearsheimer are titans in international relations. If you go to university and you do international relations, you will have to read Walt and Mearsheimer, and they are sort of the fathers of what's known as modern American realism, right? And then you have all these like other people, I can't even remember their fucking names now because they're so full of shit, who basically take the opposite idea, which is, oh my God, what's it called? Internationalism? It's called by like a bunch of names, but basically, right, like realism is the idea countries have certain interests. There is an anarchy of nations, and everyone's got to get along by being tooled up, essentially, right? So like realism in the international sphere is a bit like an armed society is a polite society, okay? And you don't want to like be disarmed. The internationalists are much more like, oh, we've got to go around and like start wars everywhere because we're doing a heckin' wholesome tickin' olam. Now, this debate is fundamentally about the difference between these two schools of international relations, and it shows, okay? Nuland and her husband, Robert Kagan, are part of what I like to refer to as the Nuland-Kagan axis, the neocon axis that has had control of US foreign policy basically since the end of 9/11, right? They've never seen a fucking like war they're not willing to like sign up to as long as it like benefits Israel. And they're like always like, oh, we've got to like intervene in this country or that country and start a war and spread democracy. All of that shit comes from these people. If we had Walt and Mearsheimer, right, as like the primary movers of foreign relations in the US would have a much, much different view. They'd just be like, you know, oh, that country over there, they're not a democracy. Who gives a fuck? It's not a fucking problem.
You put that all together, and if we really want to be honest with ourselves, should we be grateful that the United States finally acted?
No. I mean, first of all, think of where the situation was 3 or 4 months ago, right? The Strait of Hormuz was open. Oil and gas were at $60 a barrel. Iran was led by an aging, unpopular regime, right? The United States had full weapons stockpiles. It hadn't had to pull weapons out of East Asia, places like that. Where are we today, right? Iran has a more radical regime. The regime hasn't been toppled, right? Oil, last time I checked, was well over $100 a barrel. And this is going to have long-term consequences. Fertilizer isn't getting out of the Gulf either, which is going to have long-term consequences on food prices, and people are going to starve around the world as a result of that. And Iran has now learned that it can weaponize closing the Strait of Hormuz. So no, this was not the right way to deal with it. And back, by the way, before Mike Pompeo was Secretary of State, we had a nuclear agreement with Iran where they had agreed to the strictest inspections in world history. They were permitted to have 300 kilograms of enriched uranium. That's how much they had, and it was enriched to 3.6%. After they tore up the deal, a deal, by the way, part of the rules-based order that was fully endorsed by a unanimous vote of the UN Security Council. Mike walked away from that.
Do you think they were?
Wait,
for a second.
this is my turn, sir.
Well, wrap up because Mike wants in here, and this is a debate.
When we started the war back in June 2025, when Israel and the United States attacked Iran, they had over 10,000 kilograms of enriched uranium, some of it enriched as much as 60%. So the decision to leave the JCPOA was a huge strategic blunder, and it's one of the reasons we are in a war today.
Okay, Stephen, I want to give Mike a quick rebuttal because
only this.
His time.
Only this. I'm familiar with Brooklyn and bridges and the like, and if you think the Iranians were complying with the JCPOA, I got one for you.
This is what the IAEA said.
Yeah.
You like a rules-based order, then you have to listen to objective international organizations.
What the IAEA said is
Let me come to Victoria now.
For the record, what the IAEA said is to the best we can tell. And
Right. Okay. Sorry about the low volume. I'm trying to like fix it, but right. So look, Walter's basically pointing out that the Iran war is retarded, right? And Pompeo is basically saying, well, you know, the Iranians were like getting away with stuff. Now, I suspect that if you pressed Pompeo on how he knew the Iranians were getting away with stuff, he would say we have intelligence report. And I suspect if you pressed him on where those intelligence reports came from, if he was telling the truth, he would say the Mossad, right? The Mossad is like where America gets most of its Middle East intelligence. And this is a big fucking problem because the Israelis are notorious for altering that intelligence at specific junctions in order to get the US to do the shit that it wants, right? So it's, you know, they like, you know, they'll plug you into their intelligence network and all of this like stuff. They don't ever want to basically say, oh yeah, it's the fucking, you know, we got it from the Mossad, because then people would be like, have you considered that it is in Israel's interest to perhaps alter that intelligence? And they never want to have that fucking argument. But the fact of the matter is, if you've got like people on the ground in like say Iran, okay, getting like 100 agents who look like Persian is way fucking easier for the Israelis than it is for the Americans. Okay, right? Because if you like, I mean, it's literally Team America World Police, right? Like, you know, you're gonna have like some dude from fucking Mississippi walk up and be like, you know, Allahu Akbar, you know, jihad, right? Like, hello, fellow Iranians, like, please, like, it's not gonna fucking like happen, right? And Mossad has like, you know, like contacts on the ground. They're very good. The problem is, of course, as I was saying, they will alter intelligence when it suits them.
We remain a nation that is prepared to fight monsters. When we walk away from that, those monsters, and by the way, if we have a policy of not going after monsters, will be unto us.
Now this, right, is classic Reddit tier bullshit, right? This is classic Marvel Universe bullshit, okay, right? There are the good guys, there are the monsters, okay? This goes all the way back to like World War II. There are the good guys, there are the monsters, right? And we must start wars everywhere, every like fucking like 10 years to stop the monsters from re-emerging. Like
a stated policy that says, knock yourself out, invade Ukraine, take Europe, knock yourself out, continue to kill through Hezbollah and the Iraqi Shia militias and Hamas. You can kill as many Jews as you like. If that's the stated policy of the United States, I promise you the monsters will multiply and they will grow more powerful. And the
see, right? So unless we constantly are at war, the monsters will multiply, okay? There's never any recognition that the wars in themselves create more monsters, which is exactly what fucking happens, right? You keep going in, you keep fucking attacking these countries, right? You wind up with these horrible second order effects. And there is like some debate over whether these people are too fucking stupid to realize that there are second order effects. I find that very hard to believe, right? People like Nuland and Pompeo and Kagan, they're perfectly like smart when they want to be, but all of a sudden when it like comes to like they want to start a war somewhere and someone's like, oh, have you thought about the second order effects? They'll call you an appeaser, they'll call you a panic man, right? They'll call you a fucking like, oh, you know, like it's retarded. When it's something they don't want to happen, oh, then they're happy to consider second and third order effects.
Rest to all of it.
Pretty convenient.
It is very convenient.
Be far greater. No, the world 10 years from now, an America that is unprepared to do the necessary at great cost to the United States of America will.
America would never be unprepared to do the needful, sir. The way he's like, do the necessary. Isn't that like, doesn't that mean like go to the toilet? I'm pretty sure. Oh, we'll be back in a bit. I just got to go and do the necessary.
Rather vague.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Be a place that is far more unstable, far less decent, and far more safe and far less safe and secure.
But if we don't do it together, Americans and Canadians, our kids are not going to live in a world that is as secure and free and open as we have enjoyed.
What the fuck are
What
you
world are
talking
they?
about?
What world are they living in now?
Like, holy shit! Like this is like boomer moo convergence, right? Like, oh, it's like when they like the fucking like people in the UK, like the government, like they talk about fucking China, and they're like, don't you know in China, right? Like, you know, you can be like arrested for saying stuff, and you're like, yeah, what you mean like here? It's like, oh, you know, they have like a social credit system. What you mean like here? Oh, like, you know, everybody's poor. You mean like here, right? You're not.
Dude, I could.
Because back in the day, right, back after World War II, they had this sort of massive gradient that they could use, right? They could be like, you know, I mean, I you know, do you remember like growing up and they'd be, you know, the parents would be like, oh, you know, you got to eat your vegetables because like you know, there's like starving kids in Africa, and they would like literally like kill to have that like piece of horrible broccoli, right? That was like the whole thing, right? And now shit in the West, right? The standard of living, the general tenor has decayed to the point where none of this gradient works, right?
Right,
I mean,
but I think it's strange when you say the West, like we live in different countries. It just seems to be like that in white countries specifically for some reason.
well, you know, if one was a conspiracy theorist or something, right, or an appeaser, one might say, right, that using this gradient, right, is essentially a form of global communism, right? This idea that you know, we have to give all this shit to Africa, to India, to like every other fucking like country in the world, right? So that we uplift everyone. Have you like? Have
Yeah,
you
but you
ever
don't want to
thought,
be accused of being an Ister and Obik now, do you? It's very powerful.
mate? If the West did not fucking do like Gibbs, right? And if the West had not fucking succumbed to like feminism, we would probably literally have fucking like space stations and like space, like not even like cities in space, just like cyberpunk cities. Have you motherfuckers like seen what Shanghai looks like?
I
mean,
know,
it's
right?
but oh no, we had to help all the ninjas, right? Because that's the most important thing for like all the white countries. Like, oh my,
we have to sacrifice for the climate, for the future of the planet. We have to sacrifice for that, so China and India can undo anything we ever could have possibly done in terms of lowering emissions.
Fucking hell.
And not only that, we haven't even talked today about the fact that these monsters are working together far more than they have since the Cold War.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Do you think it's got anything to do with like all of those like countries you invaded? All the sanctions that you put on, the way you like controlled and weaponized the entire global financial system, right? Like
you're ignoring the democracy that they spread.
You implemented fucking like SWIFT, right? As this idea that like, you know, all countries would be able to like trade freely, but that was never the goddamn fucking plan, right? And now you like just cut funds to like countries that you politically disagree with. You have turned the entire international system into a fucking like policy weapon. And oh my God, you're so shocked that like all of your opponents are like ganging up on you. Jeez, fucking, this.
I can feel your cortisol.
This is literally my time at university. I'm getting fucking like flashbacks. Like,
so that's China, Russia, Iran, helping each other with technology, with weapons, with money, all of these kinds of things. We've got to break that axis, and we've got to do it in our own interest. And that's going to require better leadership than my country is displaying right now. I want to get back to that.
If you believe in the rules-based order and the UN Charter, it's important to understand that sitting at the heart of that order is the concept of sovereignty. And sovereignty basically says that every state on the planet has the right to determine its own foreign policy and its own domestic policy. And sovereignty is a very important concept in good part because it's designed to prevent interstate conflict. It's designed to prevent one country from interfering in the politics of another country.
See, appeaser, right? Look at him. He's a panicking. He's an appeaser, right? He's probably like a lover of the Communist Party. Why would you want to prevent war between great powers? World War II was a war between great powers, and that worked out awesome. Oh, just kill me now.
Because that country's politics are supposed to be sacrosanct. So when we talk about going around the world and slaying monsters, what we're really talking about is violating the sovereignty of other countries. Basically, what crusaders like Mike and Toria believe is that the United States has the right and the responsibility to violate the sovereignty of other states when it sees fit, number one. And number two, that we have the capability, both the intellectual capability, the know-how, as well as the material capability to go into these states when we violate their sovereignty and fix the problem. And in most cases, what this means is turning those states into a democracy, to make them look like the United States. Because, of course, we're the good guys. And if we can make the bad guys look like the good guys, we all live happily ever after.
Yeah, because everybody knows, right, that everyone around the world is completely the same, right? And it's only like, you know, there's no reason why like liberal democracy like spawned in like white countries, right? It could have as easily like spawned in Guinea-Bissau, right? Like the Somalians are all about like classical English liberalism.
Joel
right?
Berry actually, one of his solutions was the Constitution in Nigeria. We covered this. It is incredible that these people actually, unironically, not making fun of them, genuinely think this. It's crazy.
You go in, right? You destroy an entire fucking country, right? You nuke their entire like ruling class. Then you'd be like, we're a democracy now. Do you know, like under Islam, like democracy is like forbidden, right? Like it is literally like against Islam to do democracy. This was a huge fucking like thing where like I forget which fucking like, I think it was like Algeria or something like that. It's completely. There are certain people with whom democracy is incompatible, and they don't want to fucking hear it.
Now, the problem with this is, where do you get the right to interfere in the sovereignty of other countries? Where is this written down? Where do you get the right to define who is or who is not a monster, and then come up with an argument that you or the United States has a responsibility to go in and fix this problem? That's sort of the first point. The second,
by the way, I'd just like to point out, this is the other paradox at the heart of this stuff, right? People like Newland and Kagan and all of their like associated fucking egg sack dwellers, right, are always criticizing countries like Russia, Belarus, I mean, like anyone really, by saying like, oh, you know, they live by the law of the jungle. They believe might makes right. Well, what Mearsheimer is pointing out, right, is that from their perspective, what gives the right of like, well, I mean, it's not really America, right? Like Mearsheimer and Walt are Americans, okay? Kagan and Newland are Mooish, right? There's a very, very big difference. But what gives them the right? Might gives them the right. And they disguise this with these moral platitudes. And then when it all goes to shit, they're like, huh, whoopsie. Like,
Their heart was in the right place.
Guess we killed 1 million people. Oh, if only someone could have foreseen beforehand.
They're monster hunting.
Yeah, we out here monster hunting, boys. Right. And that's why, right, like for the war in Iraq is a really, really good example of this, right? And the war in Iran as well. When it comes to plans to how they're going to like destroy the country, they have plans for days. When it comes for like what they're going to do afterwards, how they're going to like, you know, they call it nation building, all that kind of shit. It's like a 1-page thing. They don't give a shit. It is not, all of these reasons are just excuses that they tell the white Americans so they can go in and just destroy these fucking countries. And then the second order effects, well, you deal with them. We'll be fine.
point is, do we really have the capability to do that? Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, and now Iran? The entire Bush doctrine. You remember when we went into Iraq in March of 2003, that was supposed to be the first stop on the train line. We were then going to knock off Syria, knock off Iran, and so forth and so on. We were going to democratize the entire Middle East. It turned out to be a disaster. The United States is not good at social engineering. I learned this as a young man during the Vietnam War when I was in the American military. The idea that you could send American GIs to South Vietnam, they could do social engineering, fix the problems in South Vietnam, and we would live happily ever after was delusional. There are real limits to what you can do with military force. So the point that I'm making to you is, number one, we don't have the right to violate the sovereignty of other states. We don't know what's good for other countries. The system was set up to let countries themselves figure out what's good for themselves, not for us to figure out what's good for them. And then furthermore, even if we could figure out what's good for them, and we thought we did have a legitimate right to go in, we would bollocks up the job in almost every case and end up killing millions of people in the...
Oh, now come on, John, right? What's your source for this claim, right? Haven't you seen the glittering utopia that is modern Libya, right? Have you not seen the glorious towers of Iraq, the incredible safety of Syria? Like, oh, I'm so fucking tired of this, man. How many fucking times have we got to like do this exact same fucking thing over and over?
A war of attrition.
It's gotten to the point now where it's been done so many times. Like the Iranians like totally saw it coming from a fucking mile away, right? That's why like the Iran war has like ground to a halt, because like after like the 5th or 6th time, the Iranians are like, okay, we know exactly fucking how you guys are going to do this, because you do it the same thing every time. You do a shock and awe, you try for a decapitation, you do economic destabilization, you ship weapons into the country, you like form like counter militias, right? You create a general like state of chaos, you get the government to collapse, you get the ruler to flee, then you come in and you set up a fucking green zone. It's fine. It's fine.
Process. So the best thing is to understand the limits of military force, and for the United States in the future to act with restraint.
Sorry. Sorry about that. I just... So speaking of Iran,
that's a weight off of your shoulders right there. That's
it
good.
will never be a weight off my shoulders until we get people like Walt and Mearsheimer like actually running US foreign policy, right? And they just start like saying like, you know, fuck this shit. We're not gonna like, oh, you've got a different kind of like government. Well, fucking good for you, right? Like, honestly, right? Like, you know, do we need shit from them? Right? Why don't we just like fucking trade with them? Right? Like, I'm not saying you can't like go to them and be like, listen, man, if you fucking do this shit, we're gonna like spank your ass, right? But this whole idea, like, oh my god, do you know? Ardy, do you know there are countries around the world that don't know the blessings of democracy and they treat their gay people badly? We better fucking invade them. Just shut the fuck up. Anyway, so there might be an Iran deal on the table, right? Nobody fucking knows. There was like a deal out, and then Netanyahu called up like Trump, and all like the moves are like, oh my god, you can't like make a deal, and now it looks like it might be on the verge. I've already explained this. I think that they're basically just trying to buy time until they can pull off their next huge false flag, and it'll be like 9/11, and they'll be like, well, we have to go to war with Iran now, right? We got no choice, right? They attacked us in our most sensitive part, our sports ball, right? Our sports ball will not be denied. I hope I'm fucking wrong about this, by the way, but just, you know.
Right. According to the reports, quote, in return for the commitments to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and forswear nuclear weapons development, the U.S. would release frozen Iranian funds and open discussions about sanctions relief, as well as enter discussions on mechanisms to permit Iran to receive humanitarian aid and other needed goods, quote unquote. That's from a senior official anonymously leaking to Axios, as well as other reports and news platforms picking it up and regurgitating it. So frozen funds, according to this, are immediately released. That's billions and billions of dollars. Sanctions relief are on the horizon.
It's their fucking money. This is the most mooish thing like I've ever heard, right? You steal a bunch of like money from someone, right? And when you're like asked to like give it back, right? You act like you're doing them like a massive favor. It's so fucking mooish, my God.
As is quote unquote humanitarian aid to a regime that slaughters its own people. That's a huge infusion of
Oh, you care that Iran slaughters their own people, right? We should be the ones slaughtering those people.
Yeah, that's like having a younger brother and a bully beats him up. Hey, nobody beats him up but me.
Yeah, exactly.
Billions of dollars into Iran, in addition to the regime returning to shipping oil, all of which will fund the IRGC and the rest of the police state. And you can be sure that's where most of the money will go. No word about ballistic missiles, which is absolutely crucial. The Iranian regime wanted to complete the production of 8,000 to 10,000 ballistic missiles, which could overwhelm Israel, overwhelm the Arab states, overwhelm us. We simply do not have the kind of weaponry needed to knock all that out of the sky. And these ballistic missiles can destroy an entire city block. Now, that's a huge infusion of billions into Iran, in addition to the regime returning to shipping oil, all of which will fund the RGC, as I said. And again, nothing about ballistic missiles. Nothing about the brutality against the people, which started this. Not a word. There needs to be a lot more details to understand exactly what has been negotiated here to warrant a massive infusion of funds back into the regime in exchange for talking another 60 days. They won't pursue nukes in the meantime? I thought we were going to hit them militarily if they did. And they'll reopen the strait? So the regime closing it was leveraged by them to get us to negotiate with them?
Yes. That's how leveraging negotiations works.
I've been covering this lately where they say the truth in an indignant way, and they seem to think that it changes something about the true statement they just said.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane, right? Like, they're like, you used our own tactics against us? How dare you?
Well, it feels like blacks for the N-word. The whites have been sentenced to liberalism, where only we have to be universal. It's like a prison sentence put upon us.
Yeah. So as you may know, right, my favorite thing about Fuentes is his takes on foreign policy, which I think are like really, really good. The rest, I don't know, man. I don't want to get involved, but like, check it out.
This is an unequivocal strategic defeat for the United States. And it seems like now the retreat is just happening in slow motion. There is obviously this very strong desire for a withdrawal. The United States wants this to be over, but they cannot make it happen without losing face. And that is something maybe they haven't accepted yet. So it's just happening slowly over time. And the reason I say this is because every one of these developments follows the exact same pattern, which is we hear a statement from the president in the press pool or the West Wing or the Oval Office, and they will say something like, Iran wants to make a deal more than anyone knows. We are negotiating with Iran. We are in late stages of a deal. A deal is imminent. They have agreed to all of these things in principle or in spirit. This is always how it starts. How many times have we heard that in the past 60 days? I think we've heard it no fewer than 10 times. We get one of these press gaggles where Trump says those words. They want a deal more than anyone knows. They're begging us for an extension so that a deal might possibly happen. They have made concessions on key issues. He doesn't use those words, but that is what is planted in the press. And then inevitably what follows is the Iranian response, which is they will come back and they will continue to say, as they have since the beginning, these are our terms. Take them or leave them. We're going to control the strait. We're not giving up our nuclear program. We're not giving up our missiles. We're not giving up our proxies. We want money and we want you out of here. And that has been their position. That has been their proposal to end the conflict since the conflict started, and it hasn't changed at all. Those have always been the key ingredients. Even since the first ceasefire was promulgated, they said a ceasefire in Lebanon. We want control over the strait and to charge tolls. We're not negotiating over nuclear, and we want U.S. forces to withdraw from the region, whether that's from the bases or at the minimum to pull back the Blue Water Navy that's stationed in the Arabian Sea. That has been Iran's position. And up until this point, going further, Iran has reiterated over and over that the administration is lying about what they are saying. Trump administration says Iran begged for an extension. Iran says never happened. Trump administration says they agreed to give up their nuclear centrifuges. Iran says never happened. And as a matter of fact, we'll never give it up. Trump administration says we are in advanced negotiations, late negotiations. A deal is imminent. Iran says no, a deal is not imminent. We don't trust you. As a matter of fact, there's not even a basis for negotiations to take place.
Pause it real quick. It really is like when he says Iran doesn't trust them. Remember that interview we showed where they I think they attacked, they bombed Iran, and then they were asking why they were retaliating, and he's like, well, you attacked us first. It really is incredible, the perception of Iran.
Oh no, it's way worse, right? Like taking a lead from the Israelis, right? The Trump administration has violated every single tenet of what I guess what you'd call international diplomatic norms, right? They dropped a fucking missile in the middle of Doha City on the Hamas negotiating team whilst in the middle of negotiations, right? They have assassinated tons of Iranian negotiators. To say that no trust exists between the Iranians and the Americans, I think is to overstate it. And this is the reason why, right? Look, you always have to make these kinds of deals with your enemies, right? This is the thing that you people always seem to misunderstand. They're like, you're an appeaser. Listen, you have to negotiate with your enemies. That's what fucking negotiation means, right? If they were your friends, you wouldn't fucking be at war with them, would you? Okay. So the way this usually works, right, is you try and get a third party to be an intermediary between the two sides. In this case, it's been Pakistan. It should be the Chinese, quite frankly, right? But the US would lose incredible amounts of face if the Chinese succeeded in successfully negotiating an agreement, right? Because, everybody knows the Chinese are stinky poo-poo pants and can't be trusted, right? So the way it pans out is you get these escalating agreements, okay? So you agree to pull your troops back. We will pull our troops back, right, by X amount of time. And if both sides follow the thing, that is then a basis for further negotiations, right? After that first success, you'll be okay, well, we'll do this thing, you do this thing, okay? And this is what like the Iranians clearly are basically like trying to do. And I, in my opinion, the Americans are just playing for time. I don't think they have any serious intention of honoring any kind of like agreement with Iran at all. And so I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but if the American administration is following the Israeli game plan, which it seems to be, what they're doing is they're just making fake agreements to buy more time, and then they will violate that agreement. The thing is, though, right? Like this has diminishing returns. Okay, this whole idea of like, we'll catch them when their pants are down. We'll tell them like it's safe, and then when they all go home, we'll like drop a missile on them. Past a certain point, it doesn't work because they never let their guard down.
We don't want to talk anymore. This has been the tempo. This has been the pattern since the very beginning. And I'd like to point out, so these are the critical issues. And I will reiterate, we've talked about this a little bit. Iran is never going to give up control over the Strait because that is part of their deterrence against a future U.S. attack. The United States has not achieved any of its strategic objectives in this war. They have not achieved regime change. They have not destroyed Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium, have not destroyed Iran's nuclear complex, have not significantly even degraded Iran's missile capability. They have achieved none of these things. If the conflict ends tomorrow, then Washington and Israel must assume that Iran is going to get right back to work, and they already have, rebuilding all these capabilities. The regime will get stronger and more dug in. They're going to dig up the highly enriched uranium. They probably have centrifuges we don't know about, and they will continue enrichment. They will build more drones and missiles. They will solidify their control over the Strait. And if Iran is a defiant, revisionist power, maybe permanently or more hostile after this has happened, then that means that this is something the U.S. and Israel are going to want to address down the line. And the way the U.S. and Israel see it is, well, we've weakened them, and now we don't have to worry about them for a little while. But in a little while, Iran will have reconstituted everything that we destroyed in this conflict, and you have this sunk cost idea that we have to move now, we have to move quickly, we have to be aggressive, or else everything we've done up to this point has been a waste. Everything that we've knocked out and destroyed, the price we paid to do it, it will have been undone in a matter of 6 to 12 months. So there's something fundamental to this dynamic that Iran knows this does not end.
Yeah, so precisely. Okay, good summary there from Fuentes. So this supposedly is the deal. Now, the Iranians are basically saying that Trump is talking out his ass, right? Indeed, the Iranians have basically been saying that everything Trump says is for a domestic audience and that you can't trust like a word that the guy says. Trump keeps basically saying that he's gotten like an agreement that the Iranians will like give up all of their uranium, that they will like open the Strait without restriction. The Iranians are like, no, that's not happening. Okay. So Trump claimed that Iran must open the Strait with no tolls. The sources say that no such clause exists in the MOU. That's the Memorandum of Understanding text. Iran has said it will open the Strait after the blockade is lifted on its own predetermined terms, which may include vessel monitoring, inspection, and security services. So Iran will control the Strait of Hormuz. And if America starts fucking around, they'll close it again. Like what Nick was saying, it is their deterrence weapon, essentially, right? Trump claimed that Iran will dismantle or destroy its nuclear material. The sources say that this claim has no basis whatsoever and does not appear in the MOU. Trump apparently admitted the following, that $12 billion in frozen Iranian assets will be unfrozen. Iran will not enter into any subsequent negotiating phase until this is paid. Iran demands a full ceasefire in Lebanon. That's not fucking happening, right? The Israelis would sooner die. And sources add that Iran is approaching any agreement with complete distrust of America, structured so that any violation triggers immediate countermeasures. Now, this is the kind of shit, by the way, right? Like snapback sanctions and all this kind of stuff that America is very, very fond of imposing on other countries, by the way, right? The Americans, they love to do this. If you don't fly straight, the sanctions are going to like snap back and no. Well, the Americans are about to get a taste of that same medicine. Apparently, a big sticking point too is how to get money to Iran if they're going to like do it, right? Trump does not want to be seen as giving money to Iran, even though it's their money that they basically like stole. Oh, sorry, froze. So they're trying to like work out like ways to do it. I've got no idea if any of this is true, if anything is going to like happen, quite frankly. As I said, I think that they're just buying for time. And there's a current thing in Congress that would basically meld the US and Israeli armies. You stoked for that, Ardy?
I don't see why not.
So they'll stop, like, you know how like, oh, you know, yeah, we want to stop like aid payments from like America because it's like bad. No, they're just going to shift the money elsewhere, right? This would essentially fuse the Israeli and American military across AI, quantum computing, autonomous systems, directed energy, cyber, biotech, counter-drone systems, and missile defense, co-production and joint ventures, licensing agreements that embed Israeli origin intellectual property into Pentagon programs of record. So all of the Pentagon's like digital equipment will be backdoored by Israel. Network integration and data fusion, which means that US military data will flow into Israeli systems and vice versa. So, you know, this isn't law yet, but people are throwing up, sort of like warning bells about this already. So there you go. That is the end of my girthy package. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's do some final super chats and get out of here, shall we?
Girthy boy, sure. I'm gonna send you guys over. If this was like very info dense for you, I'm gonna send you over to the exact opposite, which is gonna be hello listener after the stream. to activate a different part of your brain.
Kill all bunnies for $20.
Hey, yo, way! I'm walking over here. Come on.
It's a pain to think of something to send on time while at work. Mind pausing the stream for a few hours until I clock out. I need the time to think of a joke. Of course. Well,
Much
I mean, the stream's nearly over, so you know, in
Much
your mind.
appreciated.
UGM for $10. Thank you very much, UG. Oi, I forgot it was Friday. Can you redo the stream tomorrow around noon Pacific time? Thanks, chaps.
Well, we are here to please. Okay, we are. We're tap dancing over here.
Aaron, mate, discourse for $5. Thank you, mate. This super chat has clipped ridges. Don't ask why.
Oh, I have been asked to not ask why. So thank you for these ruined super chats that are no longer legal tender.
It just looked a little funny. New GM again for $10. Goodness me. Thank you, mate.
He's rocking everywhere.
Distrust foreign intelligence. Distrust friendly foreign intelligence more. Distrust friendly foreign with a good track record of accuracy even more. Never ever trust those skilled in espionage. Yeah, see, fucking he knows where it's at. James Lindsay's hands for $5. Real regime change has never been tried. Oof.
What is his profile picture? Is that supposed to be?
It's hands holding a hamburger. Of course. Vexen for $10.
Mexican.
Thank you very much, mate. Two of my favorites lighting up the screen again. Also, the way your wits play off each other is pure entertainment gold. Also, you both sound great at 3 times speed.
Dude,
thank you very much.
He makes up for lost time and he insists on being current, and he will actually listen at 3x speed, and he'll talk to me after about what we talked about on the stream.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
God. Dude, now that's some high quality autism right there.
Right? And mom used to make.
Totally. New GM for $5. New foreign policy idea. Democracy, there can be only one.
That is the effect of it.
Democracy Highlander. I like it. And Matty Ice for $10.
Oh, Matty, baby.
Fist, they really do need to do a land invasion to get any of their stated goals done. You can't control a regime change otherwise. Trump mourns his soul in interviews these days. Yeah, well, exactly. Right. Like they have to, right? They can't. Usually what they would do is get air superiority and then just pound the country flat. But Iran is not Iraq. Surprise, surprise. The place is like a mountain fortress, and they still have air defense. So I don't know what you're gonna like do a fucking like ground invasion. What I mean, the place to go in would be through like the south of the Caspian Sea, but then they'd have to like base out of like Tajikistan or somewhere like that. And I don't think the Russians are gonna like let them do that. So they're fucked. I don't see how this is gonna fucking like come together. Thank you very much, bros. Thank you for
my titties are out. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll be back on Tuesday night. Fistery is not on Monday for the moment. I've got some like travel coming up, so I need a bit more like space to do that. Clown-based life forms will be continuing, and there will be another interview with William from Intel Right dropping tomorrow night. Thank you very much.
Cute. Bros. Busy little beaver. Also, everyone should know about Theodore's super chat about the Kent State shooting. You should know 4 of the people that were shot and killed, 2 of them were Mooish somehow. Isn't that incredible? And then it was put on by Students for a Democratic Society. That entire shooting that he posted is very interesting. So just thought I'd let you know that what are the odds? 50%. It's disproportionate, I would say.
Yeah, that is quite disproportionate. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks very much. Good night.
Lord, bruv.